All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the last week before most of everybody's fantasy playoffs, unless you're in weird leagues like me and Dylan over here, where we're starting this week. But welcome in. Good morning, Jamie. It's nice to have you here. But this is the do or die week. You know, most of you guys, if playoffs haven't started, it started now. This week is win or go home. So we are here to help you win, so you don't have to go home. But before we jump into that, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment wherever you listen to us. We really appreciate just the interactions with all of you. That's what we're doing this for. It's for all of you guys. So we appreciate it. And then, if you guys want more in-depth analysis, direct access to, a top 3 ranker at Fantasy Pros Accuracy Contest right now. You want access to Matt below me, get some tips on betting. You want Keith Flemming for DFS, Detroit Beastie Chris Robbin DFS, Dave Eddy, he's killing it. So, you guys want all this, you got to go to fantasysixpack.net/plans. Sign up for a membership. There are free channels in the Discord, but, come on. We know that those locked channels, that's where the fun happens. So you got to get a membership to get into those channels. But that's enough of that. How's everybody doing this morning? Week 14, Dylan, Matt, love having you guys here. How's it going? You're muted, Dylan. Way to pull a me.
I was letting him go first. No, I'll go. I'll jump in here. I'm doing great, man. It's crunch time. It's crunch time for fantasy. It's crunch time for betting as well, especially if you are in the NFL world, if you're in the college football scene, just because we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So we're doing well, but I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I'm doing well.
Dylan, how about you?
Man. I'm doing well. Interested to hear what Matt's got for us here. I got my pen and paper ready and ready to rock.
Yeah, guys.
Take notes.
Yeah, listen in. Dylan is a listener to this show just as much as you guys when it comes to this betting portion, because as soon as it's done, he is going across the state lines to put these bets in. But it's nice to have you, Matt. I hope you've been doing well. Take it away with your bets, man.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting for me because I'm massively into college football betting. And like yesterday, I think I went 3-2. I think it's either 3-2 or 4-2 on the conference championships. I won a fair amount of money, but
hell yeah,
for NFL, I've been doing pretty. I'd say above average, actually. I'd say above average in NFL betting. I know I'm plus 500 on the year. Last week was a pretty down week for me. I hit some games that actually me and my 2 co-hosts, we hit some games that just did not play well for us. But this week, I liked some of these games. I liked the lines of some of these games. And I guess I'll just jump right in here. I'll give you guys a few. I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -6.5 playing at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are just a team that is a pain in people's sides, right? They're very injured right now. We don't know which running back's going to be in. We don't know who's going to do what. Brock Bowers got banged up a little bit last week. Gardner Minshew is down and out.
Myers was questionable all week.
Yeah, exactly. So Tampa Bay playing at home is just another team that, even though they've been down I guess they won last week. They won last week in overtime, but the week prior, they lost 4 in a row. But they're a team that's still sneakily in. They're a team that's still fighting for a playoff berth. And I don't feel like they're getting the love or the talk. We know Baker Mayfield got banged up, but I do believe, you guys can correct me wrong, he's playing today, right?
Correct.
I do believe because the lines indicate that he is playing. -6.5 at home. I like Tampa Bay in this spot. I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to keep up. The Buccaneers have to continue to win. And I just like the spot that they're in right here. So my first game that I'm going to play some money on is Tampa Bay -6.5 in this spot.
I like
it. It just looks like a very juicy spot. There's a lot of games in here where I'm like, ooh, that number's a little. I don't like that number. But
I know that there was one I remember me and Dylan talked about on the Friday show. It was 13 points. Who was it? The spread for 13 points this week?
Well, right now,
that was the Panthers game. Yep.
Yeah, and there's some spots where it's at -14. There's -13.5 on FanDuel. MGM has it -12.5. DraftKings is -14. I just don't like all the spread. I don't like all the difference in numbers. in that lineup, and that is a game that actually scares me. Like, can the Eagles have a little letdown spot? Maybe.
Right,
I don't know.
That's a big number, man.
It's possible. A big number. It's a big number. But the next game that I do like is the Seattle Seahawks plus 2.5 on DraftKings, playing in Arizona to play the Cardinals. Kyler, to me, is one of those quarterbacks, for fantasy, especially for fantasy, it's a hit or miss. I almost feel like it's a boom or bust. He's either going to get you 2 fantasy points, 5 fantasy points, or he's going to get you 20. I feel like there's no in between with that guy. So
that is what it seems like. Yep.
Yeah. And the Seahawks are in a good spot. Now, I know Kenneth Walker is downgraded to out for this week. But the Seattle Seahawks are another team that I feel like is not getting a lot of love. They're not getting a lot of talk about. Geno Smith is a good quarterback. JSN is starting to emerge. DK Metcalf is still there. Zach Charbonnet, he is a pretty good running back. Now, I know the Cardinals defense has been playing good of late or better, but I still think the Seattle Seahawks are in a position where they need to win this game, 1. And number 2, I think their offense is better than Arizona's defense. And it's plus money. It's plus 2.5. It doesn't matter to me if the Cardinals are playing at home. I still think Seattle is a better team in this position right here. So I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks plus 2.5 in this matchup here.
I like it. When they faced off 2 weeks ago, Seattle won 16-6. That's easy cover right there. I know that was previously, but it seems like when these two teams match up, there's not much offense involved. So Arizona can easily get shut down, it seems like, against the Seattle defense, who's been playing much better.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a couple more games that I do like. I won't really give any explanation, but I see the 49ers having a little bounce back here. I like the -3. It's a low enough number. If that went up to like -4, -4.5, -5, I'd probably stay away from it. But I could see the 49ers just having a little bounce back here against the Bears. The Bears are still in that position where I'm just like, are they the team that is this new head coach going to come in and do anything? Right. There is offensive firepower. Yeah. They have the offensive firepower, but it's in San Francisco. I just don't see it going well for the Bears in that spot. And then there's always the game that the Chiefs -4 playing at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's a game that I'm not sure that I really want to touch. I know you're not supposed to take the curses. You're not supposed to take the Chiefs if they're at a certain number, but it's right on the line. It's right on that line.
Yeah.
So that's another game that I don't mind if someone wants to fade the Chiefs and actually just dabble a little bit in the Los Angeles Chargers spread. They are playing well. Justin Herbert is a dude. It's just one of those games. But yeah, I like the 49ers. I wouldn't mind people dabbling a little bit in the Chargers. I know it's in Arrowhead, but it's right on that line where they say don't take the Chiefs or take the Chiefs. So, and even the Bills -3.5 playing at Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah,
I know I'm taking a lot of favorites this week minus the Seahawks, but like I said, we're getting down to crunch time. We're really getting down to crunch time, and the Bills are trying to keep up with the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs lose and the Bills win, then you're in that position of the Bills potentially being the 1 seed. So it's one of those things. So it's really crunch time. I do like a lot of the favorites this week.
Yeah.
Other than
I like that. I like that Bills call too a lot there, Matt. I know the Bills are traveling out west, but I feel like their fans travel well, and SoFi for the Rams aren't really ever a home field advantage for them. So I feel like there's going to be more Bills fans than Rams fans. So I like that call, and they're just the better team, obviously, with Josh Allen. I also like the 49ers call for sure. I know the new coach boost. I know that's a thing, but the Niners have to win this game, man. This is kind of a kitchen sink game for them. It's been a season from hell for them, but they're still only 2 games out of the division in the loss column. So, it's still doable if they can figure out a way to win, even with all the injuries, but they have to throw everything at the Bears. And let's be real, Bears aren't a good team. So I like that.
It's a very must win for them. And to be honest, before I get out of here, guys, I even like Cincinnati -5.5, because believe it or not, there's still like a 25% chance that the Bengals can still make a run here.
Yeah.
So in Dallas they played better of late. They looked good last week, their defense, but the Bengals have been a good team. They've been so close, really close matchups. Joe Burrow, that offense have been playing well. It's just their defense has been letting them down. Cowboys offense is not that great. CeeDee's banged up. So another favorite. I like the favorites in the majority of the games this week. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense for sure. But yeah, Matt, before you get out of here, why don't you just go ahead and plug where everybody could find you? And like Mike said at the top, we really appreciate you jumping in here and helping us out.
Yeah, no worries. It's always fun jumping in here, guys. If you guys want to check out our podcast, you can find it on the YouTube channel, Fantasy Six Pack. That's where all our video stuff streams. Or you can go over to, and that's on Tuesday nights is when we roll live with our betting episode. So that's on Tuesday nights, Fantasy Six Pack on YouTube. Or you can head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and look up the Parlay Fantasy Football podcast, where myself and then my two co-hosts, Shane and Jason, we talk fantasy, we talk betting. So you can find us over there as well.
Yeah, guys, go check them out. I've listened to a couple of their episodes. I mean, they are super entertaining. I enjoy the entertainment just as much as I enjoy the knowledge. And I mean, whoever's making your guys' animations, your drops, I love it, because that's always a great addition into a show as well.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on.
Take care. Good luck in your bets this week, Matt.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Now we're going to bring on our next segment, Mr. Joe Bond himself, top 3 ranker in the Fantasy Pros Accuracy Contest at the moment, and the founder of Fantasy Six Pack himself. What's up, man?
What's going on? Glad to be here this week. No,
you look awake. You look awake today.
I'm dealing with the kids solo this morning. It's interesting.
So you had no choice.
The daughter keeps running down here, like bugging me, and I'm like, "You need to give me 10 minutes, please, like something."
That's all I need. Yeah, that's all you need. Love it, Joe.
Everything's an emergency when I have something to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a timer on my phone. Take my phone, and when it's done, come back to me. It's like a restaurant.
No. You don't have kids. You don't know that that's a horrible idea.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take your advice.
Anybody with a parent listening is like, "Oh my gosh, no."
My kid would be buying stuff off Amazon, man. He'd just give him my phone. He'd be shopping. But all right, Joe, let's jump right into things with your rankings here. And we were just talking with Matt about this Bears 49ers matchup. We're going to start at the quarterback position, and that's Mr. Caleb Williams. You have him cracking your top 12 rankings here at QB 11. ECR is still lagging behind a little bit. They still have him as quarterback 14. What's giving you encouragement here from Caleb Williams, and why you have him ranked in the top 12 besides all the bye weeks?
I mean, that's a big part of it, obviously. But look, I mean, the guy's on fire right now. I mean, you can't deny what he's been doing. DJ Moore being a little banged up does give me a little pause, but look, Keenan Allen and him have been just clicking. Odunze, not so much, but we've seen that in the past too. Swift is coming into this matchup banged up. It sounds like he will play, but that just tells me that they're going to lean on this passing game more than ever. And I think I've been watching some of these Bears games, and he looks more comfortable back there than he's looked at this entire season. I mean, that one play, I forget what game it was. He's running around in the pocket. Then he just his offensive lineman was on the ground. He just leaps over him and then chucks the ball 20 yards downfield. Just boom, right on target. Didn't even flinch, didn't blink. Just okay, this is the normal play. So yeah, I'm liking him a lot this week. I know it's a little bit of a tougher matchup. But I mean, the 49ers have also been giving up some yards to quarterbacks as well. So I'm confident in saying that he can get it done.
That defense is just so banged up right now. Like I was talking to Matt, I don't expect the Bears to win here, but I think the Bears offense is going to be able to have a decent day. Like you're saying, their cornerbacks are so beat up. Nick Bosa's doubtful as well. So yeah, that's I like to call Caleb Williams this week, Joe, for sure. Looking over at the running back position, we're going to talk about Rico Dowdle here. You like him more than ECR here, as your RB12 ECR has him at running back 16. What's making you a little bit excited about Rico Dowdle this week, Joe?
Excited is a strong word. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question marks coming into this week with a lot of running backs, right? And Rico's kind of not one of them. We know he's getting the bulk of this workload. The Bengals defense has been terrible. Why can't he get it done? Last week he was phenomenal against the Giants, right? On Thanksgiving. I get it. Like, there's a lot of hesitation to throw him up that high, but I mean, with all of the split workload that's going on amongst these guys, like, maybe he moves down. Once I do, kind of my final tweaks, maybe he moves down a little bit. But I mean, like, are we super confident in throwing Kyren Williams over him right now? Who, I mean,
that's
yeah,
the next guy I was gonna. That was the next guy I was gonna ask.
I get it. Right. Well, okay, so let's just kind of lump this together then. I get it, right? Kyren Williams is been performing way better than Dowdell all year. The issues with Kyren, right, is it does seem like they're trying to get Corum more involved. Yeah, I mean, I said it in the users article. Everybody kind of screamed like, "Oh no, Kyren Williams didn't get a single snap in the first quarter." The Rams ran 3 plays, so like, let's calm down. But the fact that he wasn't on the field first does kind of give you a little pause, right? Yeah, he busted out and had a great game. But this Rams offense is running through Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, so you do lower Kyren Williams quite a bit. This Dallas offense is running through Dowdell now. Lamb's banged up big time. He's not going to be the CeeDee Lamb that we all love. And Cooper Rush just isn't that great. So I think they're going to lean on this on this run game, and he can get it done with the pure volume he's going to see. I'm very confident with Dowdell this week.
All right, Joe, I like that one. Just a quick one for you. My brother here's got a question for you. Do you have Caleb ranked higher than Cooper Rush this week?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
This is just me personally.
I get it. The matchup, dude. The Bengals are they're giving up.
It is one of those things where you look at it like, man, you compare it to like Will Levis. Even it's like Will Levis hasn't been great all year. He hasn't had a game over, I think, 16 fantasy points, or 18 fantasy points, but he has this good matchup. Everybody's high on him this week, so I don't know why you can't see that with Cooper Rush.
I'm higher on Levis than I am most weeks, but I'm not putting Levis above guys like Justin Herbert, who has a bad matchup. I'm not even doing that. No. Like, I can't confidently. I can't stomach starting Will Levis. I don't care.
Do you have Caleb over?
Who? What?
Well, do you have Caleb over Levis? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Without what you're talking. Okay, that's what I was curious about.
It's. Levis is still down there. Look, Levis still likes to throw picks. He gets sacked. Dude, in a league where I kind of missed the boat on a lot of the streaming defenses this week, and a lot of them were already rostered before I could snag them anyway, I swapped out Cincy this week, who I kind of was leaning on this morning, for the Jags defense, because Will Levis likes to throw picks and he likes to take sacks. He might put up 30 points, but I don't really care.
As long as he doesn't get you negative, he's going to get you some interceptions and some sacks.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to help a defense, so I'll take it.
Yep. Looking at the wide receiver position now, Joe. We're going to start with Marvin Harrison Jr. You have him as your ECR wide receiver 27. ECR has him at wide receiver 23. Joe, you don't have him as wide receiver 2. I think if you said that at the beginning of the year, people would be looking at you cross-eyed here. But he has been uber disappointing this season. So what are your thoughts here with Marv going against the Seattle Seahawks?
Seattle's been sneaky good on defense, especially as of late. And they did just shut down Marvin Harrison just a couple of weeks ago. Do they do do they shut him down in the same fashion this week? Maybe not. But we've seen Marvin Harrison go up and down all year long. So last week he had a really good week. Now we're back to another bad week. I don't know. Maybe this is kind of reading too much into it, but I mean, there is kind of something to this massive inconsistencies that we're getting from Marvin Harrison. And look, to some degree, I don't really think it's him. I do think it's a lot on Kyler, and just the way that they're running this offense is just bizarre.
They've been really run first most of the year. It's
that's fine, but it's like Kyler, like in those types of game scripts, like when he decides to drop back and pass, like it's not clicking for him in certain games. Like I don't know what's going on. He's not connecting with Marvin Harrison. Maybe it's the play calling. I have no idea, but I mean, like there's a reason why I went out and traded. I don't ever trade for quarterbacks. I went out and traded for a quarterback in one league where I had Kyler Murray, and I couldn't do it. Like I had Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen. He actually threw me Josh Allen.
Wow.
But I mean, I get it because Baker Mayfield's got like a crazy good playoff schedule.
Yeah.
But I was happy to take Josh Allen off his hands. You know, I gave him 2 pretty good running backs in return. He was desperate at running back. So it was a pretty fair trade. Helps both of us out. I just can't do it with Kyler anymore. And Marvin Harrison is, you know, the perfect example of what we're getting with the inconsistency of Kyler Murray. And yeah, I'm a little worried about Harrison this week. He's got that ceiling potential though, man, but his floor is like 5 points.
Yeah, it's bad. Agreed. Yep. Agreed. And if he gets you 5 points, man, and you're battling for a playoff spot here, that's scary.
Brutal.
Yeah, I get it for sure.
Who would have thought that Malik Neighbors starting the year with Daniel Jones would have had a safer floor than Marvin Harrison Jr. with Kyler?
There's a lot of people who would have said that just because you knew Neighbors was going to get all the targets.
This much though, in comparison, that was a drastic.
No. I mean, I don't think anybody saw the inconsistencies coming.
10 targets a game.
Yeah, but I mean, Neighbors getting this much workload is insane. So, although he's banged up, he may not even play today, and if he does, I think it's going to be limited. So, I've got him ranked still pretty high, but he might move down even farther once we get more news on him.
Yeah, he was my sour player on Friday's show. I did not want to be starting him even if he did play. He's got it's got that decoy vibe written on it for the week.
A little bit.
All right, Joe, one more wide receiver question, and I'm just looking at your rankings here. You have Keenan Allen as wide receiver 25, and you have DJ Moore as wide receiver 28. Is this just this week that you're going to have them swapped, or do you think maybe Keenan Allen is kind of the 1A to DJ Moore's 1B now in the Chicago offense?
I think some of this is, we're still waiting on the official word for DJ Moore. And I kind of want to see how much, if he's moving well in pregame. I am a little worried with, limited all week in practice. And look, Keenan Allen's been awesome. I mean, outside of last week, that blow up game that he had, Keenan Allen has been playing better than him, overall, more consistency wise than DJ Moore over the last 3-4 weeks. It's just, last week was such a massive blow up game from DJ Moore that he was able to get it done. But yeah, it's that those two might move. Just to warn you guys. Okay. But that's again, these are early Sunday morning, quick reaction ones.
You reserve the right to change your rankings at any time before 1 p.m. Eastern.
After 11:30 Eastern time, when news starts dropping, things will move again. So jump into the site and grab the updated rankings because they do not get updated until pretty late on Fantasy Pros.
George Pickens is a go, according to Ian Rappaport.
That's good news.
Yes, it is.
I kind of figured that.
All right, Joe, I got one more for you. And I was looking at your tight end rankings. There's nothing really to talk about here. So we're going to bounce back to the running back position. And I might be putting you on the spot here, but it's Mr. Gus Edwards, man. With no J.K. Dobbins, I know everybody was excited. Maybe he'd get majority of the workload now. Unfortunately, he just hasn't looked good. Joe, you actually, even with 6 teams on bye, you have him as RB 34. You just want nothing to do with him?
Nope. I saw 6 carries last week, man. What? I might be making that number up, but it was low. I know that it was very low.
All right, so who's the leader of this Chargers backfield with J.K. Dobbins on IR? It doesn't seem like it's Edwards.
I don't really want anybody. I mean, him and Vidal was 6 and 4 carries. Gus Edwards, he sort of catches passes out of the backfield, I guess, but not really. I mean, if anything, like the only thing that might help Gus Edwards' case is if McConkey is actually out. Then I think they're gonna have to lean on the run game a little more because I don't
fire up Will Dissly.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think they can trust Quentin Johnston right now. He's dropping so many passes and he's just not running good routes. I just cannot. I mean, look, yeah, I mean, Chad's saying in the chat here, Gus was so bad last week. I think Vidal is going to get a shot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to go nuts, but I have to think that they're gonna try something else new. It's going to be more of a split than we saw with just when Dobbins was healthy. And it's unfortunate that they lost Dobbins because I really do think this really hurts the entire offense.
I was just going to say that, man. It really has killed it. And once Dobbins went out, man, in that first half of that game, the last game and a half, it's been rough for that Chargers team for sure.
I mean, hey, McConkey managers are loving it because he's going to get peppered. So
Lad's
there's that.
I'm happy that's a thing. Lad is so good. We've got some more good rookie wide receivers.
I'm just happy the Chiefs traded up to get Xavier Worthy instead of Lad. That's what makes me happy.
They wanted the speed, man.
And they paid the price, just like the Raiders all the time when they were drafting speed.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, Joe. Great stuff as always, man. Before you get out of here, why don't you go ahead and plug what you got going on the rest of the day?
Obviously the rankings on the site as well as the usage article that I do every week. Got the Discord, and then we are starting to spin the wheels on a lot of baseball content. So look out for some of that. I was starting to mess with my first set of draft baseball rankings last night. I'm hoping to get them out super early this week. So along with a bunch of other content that we have kind of just sitting around waiting to go out. I'm just waiting to press the button. So
nice.
Jump in there and get in on those.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully you adjusted the rankings after the free agent signings yesterday, so you didn't have to go right back in and
yeah, it was pretty late at night. I was doing it like 10:30 at night, so a lot of that stuff was already factored in. But yeah, I mean, things will move very quickly and very often with those baseball rankings. So these are super early. No, there's not a lot of people drafting on December 8th, but I'll put them out there anyway.
There's some maniacs out there, I'm sure.
There are some diehards. I will call them that.
I mean, we've done it. I was drafting best ball in March, so.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, look, the football people will draft best ball teams before, like, the day after the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah,
I don't
that's diabolical.
You do that. You don't even know where the rookies go. Like, come on.
JJ's pointing to himself in the background, like, that's me.
All right, guys, have fun. I gotta go help out the kids.
We love you joining us, giving us a sneak peek into your rankings. Good luck in the accuracy contest this week, Joe.
All right, man. See you.
Take care. All right, guys. I know you've been patiently waiting, and we really appreciate it. And it's that time. Welcome in, JJ. He's here to help us with these start-sit questions. How's it going, man?
What's up, boys? How you guys doing today? Apologize to everybody. My voice is still kind of going through it a little bit. That's why I was out last week. But we're here to put on my Jordan flu game and help carry you guys into the playoffs. Got to add one thing to what Joe was saying. The last 2 years, we've actually started a new league right after the end of the fantasy championship. We've had the draft done before the Super Bowl is over. We're not going to do that this year because I got 10. But like, yeah, there is an audience for that for sure.
There's a few, and don't worry. I mean, you got a lower voice, I got a nasally voice. We balance each other out. But like I said, guys, thank you for being patient. You've locked and loaded a lot of questions here. We're gonna get to them right now. What's up, Dollar Bill? He's got 3 questions here, all PPR. It looks like he's got Braylon Allen or Nick Chubb this week. And for me personally, it's Braylon Allen with the expectations. We're getting pretty much 20 touches with him with Breece Hall out. How about you two?
Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah, I think I'll slightly go Braylon here. I don't feel super great about it. I feel like Isaiah Davis could be a little bit more involved in this week too. But yeah, I'll go Braylon here barely on this one.
I'm with you there. I go Braylon over Chubb as well. I don't know if he'll see 20 touches, Mike, like you said, but I like the idea of 12 to 15. That offense is just so bad. Can they sustain enough drives to the point where he can get 20 touches? That's what worries me here. But yeah, I still go Braylon. A bigger back too, got good touchdown upside.
A little bit more physical runner too.
He's got receiving game that Chubb's just not getting. Chubb's in the last 3 weeks has averaging a target a game, and he's getting 13 rushing attempts. So that's why it's like Chubb. I mean, if Breece Hall was active, obviously it's Chubb because he's getting those 13 attempts. Braylon's probably going to go back down to like 6, 7, 8 attempts. But because Breece Hall is out, I think it's an easy lock in for Braylon Allen at 15 attempts a game. 15 touches this game, which is more than what Chubb's been getting the past 3. So he's got Keenan Allen and Brian Thomas Jr. and this one is closer. But I'm just gonna lean with the hot hand, and that's Keenan Allen. The past 2 weeks he's seen, if I remember correctly, like what was it, 27 targets the past 2 weeks. He had a 15 target week, and then I believe it was 12 or 10 last week. So I'm just gonna go with the volume there.
All I had to do, man, was call him washed on this show a couple weeks ago, and now I'm all talked back in. Now I'm talked back into the Bears re-signing him for a 1-year deal here to keep the band together with that wide receiver room. But
He's just injured.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, apparently he was just injured, not washed.
He has been dinged up all year, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go Keenan Allen here as well. Mac Jones starting at quarterback for the Jaguars. I'm just gonna lead with the hot hand, Caleb Williams, and that Keenan Allen connection's been good. So
yeah. I don't think BTJ is a bad start this week, but yeah, I'll go Keenan here. He's been scorching the last few weeks.
Yeah, agreed.
And then the last one here, we got Will Dissly and Pat Freiermuth. I think this one's really based on Ladd McConkey. If Ladd McConkey is out, I want Will Dissly in this lineup over Freiermuth. But man, if he's in, I think I'd take Freiermuth in that Steelers game.
I think you said it best, Mike. I think that's you don't give great analysis all the time, but that was spot on there.
Well, it's better than saying Keenan Allen's washed, but we'll move on.
Good one.
What's up, Dylan? Thanks for joining us again, man. It's not a long post. You're all good. Full point PPR. He needs a QB here. He's got AOC or Cooper Rush, and this one's a good one. I think these are 2 solid streaming options. And I'm with Matt. If you guys joined us earlier, Matt was given his best bets of the week, and he thinks that Tampa Bay is easily going to win this game against the Raiders by 6 points, which means AOC is just going to have to chuck the ball this week. So I do lean slightly AOC. CeeDee Lamb's banged up. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, you got Jake Ferguson, Rico Dowdle, Brandon Cooks. Brock Bowers is playing, Jacoby Myers is playing. AOC's got the better, stash of weapons here. So, and a better matchup. Tampa Bay's the second best matchup for QB. So give me AOC.
AOC was solid last week too. Like he played pretty good. So yeah.
QB 13 against the Chiefs. Yeah. And then I assume we all went AOC there. One tight end. He's got Juwan Johnson, Freiermuth, and Dalton Knox. Dalton Knox you could throw on the bench.
Dalton Knox isn't a guy, but Dawson Knox is a guy, man. You combine Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox.
It's because we just want one tight end used. We want one tight end used for the Bills.
Am I crazy for Juwan Johnson right here? That's where I lean with no Taysom Hill, no weapons at all on that offense outside of Kamara. That's why I lean Juwan Johnson here.
I'll go.
I still lean Pat. I think Pat. He got 7 targets last week, and that's tough. That's tough. I guess I trust Russell Wilson more than I trust Derek Carr. That's what it really boils down to. And that's a tough statement to swallow.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do you trust Derek Carr? I don't. I mean, everybody.
Trust is a strong word too, but you can't trust Russell Wilson. He had the best matchup in the world against Baltimore 3 or 4 weeks ago and threw up a.
But we found out it wasn't the best matchup because the best matchup for him is the Bengals.
True. Yeah. That is true.
And then he needs a wide receiver and one flex. He's got Westbrook-Ikhine, Devontae Smith, Braylon Allen. I think Braylon Allen's your flex. Lock him in there. Man, I almost want
Devonta Smith here, man. I kind of like Devonta Smith.
Oh yeah,
with no Dallas Goedert there either. That target the target tree. It's going to be tighter with just the two wide receivers now. So I think that I actually go Smith here.
I'm worried about Smith. I'm a Smith owner myself, and he's been just meh all year long. At least with Ikhine, he's pretty much 40% guaranteed a touchdown catch.
So yeah, it's a target.
If you are, Dylan, if you are one of those teams that you are the underdog this week, put Ikhine in there because he can give you a higher ceiling, I think, than Devontae Smith from what we've seen from Ikhine lately. But I think
Carolina, though, Mike, you're blinded a little bit here. I think they get Carolina, man, and they're 14.5 point favorite. They got to get there somehow.
I get that, but Carolina is the only team that has allowed 2,000 rushing yards this year so far. So, and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley can both eat away at that so that's what really concerns me. And I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's like averaging 25 passing attempts a game. It's a very small pie as far as like volume. So even if Devontae Smith sees a 20% target share, what is that? 6 targets?
I think you might see higher than that, but yeah,
it's just more the Eagles have chose to run the ball when they're in control, and if they're in control this game, which Vegas thinks they're going to be with the gap that they have in the point spread, I just think it's going to be a Hurts and Barkley day. But if you want to play Smith, he is, in my opinion, still safer than Ikhine.
He's the better player, but I mean, Ikhine right now just seems like every other target he gets is in the end zone. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Smith here, but it's crazy this is even a question, and it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you have 20 receptions on the year and 8 are touchdowns, that's why we get these questions with Westbrook-Ikhine. And then we got a kicker here: Tyler Bass or Cameron Dicker, the kicker.
Dicker, the kicker, man. I can't get that extra point out of my mind that Tyler Bass hit that 1 week. That was the worst field goal attempt that I've ever seen. So I am not going there. I'm going Cameron Dicker.
Yeah. I know Dicker, so we'll go him.
Bass has missed a decent amount of kicks this year, so give me Dicker. All right, Michael, thanks for joining us, man. Good morning to you as well. He's got James Conner, Rico Dowdle, or Isaac Guerrero. I mean, personally, I'd be trying to get 2 of these 3 in there, and it's Rico Dowdle and Guerrero. I know James Conner's going to get the volume, but last time he played Seattle, he finished his RB24 with it, and it was very mundane. So it's Rico Dowdle number 1, then it's Guerrero, then it's James Conner for me.
I'll go Dowdle 1, then I'll go Conner, then Guerrero. I kind of want to see it for a week and just kind of see how the backfield shakes out there in San Francisco. They signed Izzy Abanikanda. I liked him coming out of the draft. You got Patrick Taylor there too, so they got a few bodies there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Izzy Abanikanda is still on the practice squad, but they did elevate Patrick Taylor.
Patrick Taylor, that's what I meant, not Patrick Richard. Patrick Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, they did elevate him though, so it is, as far to my knowledge, it's Guerrero and Taylor, and then I'm sure Juszczyk will get involved there as well.
Mm-hmm. This one's close for me too, and I think I'll go Dowdle here, slightly over Conner for me. I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like someone's gonna beat up the Bears on the ground, though. That's the problem. But can you trust it being Isaac Guerrero, being all of it? I don't know yet. So yeah, I'm gonna go Dowdle with him being pretty much the lone guy back there. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's up, Marcelo? Thanks for joining us, man. He's got Juwan Jennings, Jalen Waddle, or Jalen Warren in his flex half-point PPR. And I think it's Juwan Jennings easily. He's the best option out of these. And Brock Purdy is supposedly healthy this week. And he's not playing in a blizzard. So he'll be able to grip the ball, guys. And Juwan Jennings is the wide receiver 1 on the Niners. I know it's just a dumpster fire right now for the Niners, but Waddle hasn't been consistent. Jalen Warren, I think, has only had double-digit fantasy points 2 weeks out of the entire year. So give me Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. It sucks, man. I want to get Waddle in there. The upside's crazy. It just has not been there this year.
Yeah, I'm all right with Juwan Jennings as well. Out of those three.
What's up, Gregorio? Pacheco or Rashad White, half-point PPR. And White was my sour pick this week, so and Pacheco's not great either.
Dang it. With it being half, man, I think I might go Pacheco slightly, even though White's been pretty good the last few weeks. The Chargers have been beaten up on the ground here lately. So I see Pacheco maybe finding the end zone this week. So give me Pacheco.
I'll go White here. I'll go White here. I think that like Bucky's, we all see he's turning into the guy, but he did get banged up last week. He kind of had like a hip injury. I know he practiced and limited and he's good to go this week, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more of a 50-50 share this week, just keeping them both healthy for the run. So yeah, I'll go White here.
Yeah, I'm going to go White as well. Last week, White saw 11 rushes for 76 yards, 6.9 rushing yards per attempt. I mean, that's something we probably haven't seen from him all year, that efficiency. And then Pacheco only saw 7, touches last week. So
they're going to work him in more, man. They got to stop giving the ball.
Why?
Because Kareem Hunt's not good, Mike. That's why.
I get that.
He's not helping their offense. He's not helping their offense. This offense needs to
matter because they're still winning. It doesn't matter because they're still winning, and that's what they're looking at. That's why I don't see them working Pacheco in more. They want him healthy for the playoff run. They've got the playoffs secured. They don't care about the regular season anymore. Why are they going to work in Pacheco?
They still got to get the number 1 seed, man. The Bills are right on their ass too.
They've shown that they don't need the number 1 seed. They just did it last year. So
you don't think they want it? You don't think they want it still? I'm sure they don't want to. They don't want to play the first week.
What would they rather have? The number 1 seed or a starting healthy running back for that playoff run?
I mean, he's healthy right now.
Yeah, but like 100% healthy. He's not 100% healthy coming off a broken fibula.
I mean, if he wasn't healthy, I don't think they're trotting him out there at 75%.
Isn't he just John, game reps to get the conditioning back at this point if he's healthy?
Right. You have to. That's why. Yeah, I agree. Yes,
I get Kareem Hunt's not that good, but
he stinks. He's not. It's not that he's not that good. He's not good, man. He's not good. He stinks.
He's good enough to where he's been helping people get into the playoffs when Pacheco was out. So
he's helping fantasy wise, yeah. But man, he does not. That offense. It's just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, man, with him. And it just,
the whole team is. They're all slow. They got Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, Isaiah Pacheco off of the broken fibula, Kareem Hunt. They're all slow.
I'm waiting for them to come on, man, but I feel like the Chiefs are kind of on fraud alert a little bit this year. I
know you can't say it, but I feel it too. Yeah,
it kind of feels like the Eagles last year, where it just feels like they're just waiting for one thing to go wrong, and then the wheels just fell off. But it's hard to get Mahomes, man.
I can absolutely see that comparison. The only difference is the Eagles were coming off a Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are coming off back-to-back Super Bowl championships.
Oh, no, I get it, man. So
their morale is a little bit so if they go on a lose, if they lose a couple games at the end of the season, it's not going to be the end of the world for the Chiefs, where it was the end of the world for the Eagles.
For sure.
Laura, thanks for joining us. Sorry for the arguing, but that's why we're here. Take a risk on playing Judy and Njoku on the same team. She's weary of the Steelers defense. Other options on her bench are Shakir and Addison. Ooh,
I don't have a problem with playing both the wide receiver and tight end with how many times Winston's going to throw it. I am a little worried about Judy getting his here against Joey Porter Jr. and this Steelers offense, and I like Khalil Shakir, and I honestly I like
Addison this week.
Addison and Shakir.
I really do like Addison this week. I talked about it on the Friday show. That Falcons-Minnesota game is just screaming like it's a possible shootout game with how bad those secondaries
on both teams are. I'm excited to watch, honestly, is that one.
Yeah.
It also has a little bit of trap on it because it's like, oh my gosh, everything's lining up. The stars are aligning. Jefferson's going to have a good day. Drake London, everybody, so it is a little scary, but I think I lean Judy and Addison in this one.
I don't know if that's the question though, Mike. I'm assuming Njoku is in her tight end spot.
I gotcha. Okay, if that's the case, I'm still playing Judy over Addison, but if you got a flex spot, I'd be putting Addison in it.
Yeah. If you're worried about the matchup, put in Addison, but yeah, I'm okay playing Judy and Njoku this week.
I am as well, but
He's coming off the best revenge game in NFL history.
Yeah, kidding.
Yeah, I think I got Addison slightly over Judy, but I won't quibble if you go with Judy at all.
Hopefully we helped you there, Laura. James, thanks, man, for joining us. He needs start one. Kamani Vidal, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Davis.
I'm so adamant on Kareem Hunt stinking, so play him out of those three options.
Honestly, I was kind of going to say the same thing. I was like, yeah, I feel like out of these options, like at least Hunt, is going to get 8 touches, like at least.
No, he shouldn't. Yep.
He had 11 opportunities, turned it into 9 touches last week. But that's still more than these two are seeing. So yeah, it's rough out in the streets this week, James. But Kareem Hunt's out of these options.
Don't hate Isaiah Davis as like a Hail Mary start though. I am putting him in a few weeks.
Way deeper league, way deeper league type of start. But if he's going to get a little bit of an uptick in work, so
and hopefully some passing work too.
I want to pull up this comment from Dion here. Did Miami win yesterday? Or were they not in? No, they weren't even in the ACC championship, right?
No, it was SMU and Clemson.
So they probably don't get in, huh? It's going to be Bama over them?
It should not be Bama with 3 losses, man. Like that is 2 of those losses against 6 and 16. Like that is insane to me. Like that's crazy.
Does it hurt Miami's case that it feels like every single game they played in this year was close? Because it felt like Cam Ward was just kind of dicking around, playing around with everybody throughout the game and stuff, even though he's awesome. But I agree. Alabama with 3 losses over Miami lost 1 game, right? That is tough. But
yeah, I don't know.
The committee loves that SEC, man. They do.
Yeah, they do. But 2 losses to 6 and 6 teams don't look good. All right, Dion. He's got Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert. All right, which one should he play this week, guys? Dylan, go ahead.
Jordan Love's gone already. Which one should he drop from his team? He has 2 weeks left after this week. So who we dropping here out of these is what he's asking.
That'd be Herbert. It'd be Herbert.
I'm trying to think. What's Jordan Love's playoff record or playoff?
I don't know. I almost feel like Baker's the one.
Well, Baker's playoff stretch is beautiful, and then Jordan Love actually.
Yeah, what is like the schedule? I don't know what the schedule is in my head.
Jordan's is Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota for the fantasy playoffs.
That's not bad either.
Minnesota in the championship game. That's pretty juicy for Jordan Love.
Herbert gets Kansas City this week, Tampa Bay, Denver. Yeah, it's Herbert.
Yeah.
Denver is a little scary, but
I'd be playing him in that
week
Tampa Bay game.
I was going to say the championship week, he gets Denver in week 16, but championship week, he gets New England, which is also a good matchup. So,
but Minnesota's a better matchup, though.
This is a tough question, man.
Minnesota's a better matchup, though, because New England could not keep up with the Chargers. The Packers are keeping up with the Vikings or vice versa.
Do we want him dropping Justin Herbert and maybe go and another playoff team picking him up? Possibly and playing him in week 17 in the championship.
I mean, you just said it yourself.
Since Bay, does that worry you?
No, because you just said it yourself when Joe was on. Since J.K. Dobbins has gone down, this offense has taken a step back. Justin Herbert has not been as good. And then you got Ladd McConkey banged up. QJ can't catch a pass. So I'm dropping Herbert.
I think that's fair, man. Yeah. It just kind of sucks a little.
Yeah, standard league here for Alex, 12 team. Tua or Jalen Hurts? It's standard. I'm going Hurts.
Yeah, it's Hurts.
And then Jonnu Smith or K. Dotton. That one's Jonnu, even though Otton's got a good matchup. Jonnu's just getting so many targets. And I know he was, I was having fun on the Friday show, and I said Jonnu's my, sour player this week because my hope is that Sauce Gardner is out. They're going to get Tyreek Hill more involved in this offense. But the reality is Jonnu Smith is the number 1 target in this offense, 30 targets the past 3 weeks. So, yeah, you can't argue with volume.
Yeah.
And then Devontae Smith or Adam Thielen on the waiver wire. I don't think you guys are going to agree with me on this one, but if I think I go Thielen. I just think there's more volume. I think there's just more volume in that matchup.
I'll go Devontae Smith as well.
And if it was PPR, it's 100% Thielen, even though it's standard. But
no, I think I still go Devontae there.
The Eagles are tough, man. Like if if Quinyon Mitchell or something's locked on Adam Thielen, how's he gonna separate?
Yeah.
I don't see it. Maybe Quinyon's mostly on Xavier Legette. Maybe Thielen gets Cooper DeJean, but even still, I don't love it.
I look at Devontae this week as like he better score early in the first quarter, or he ain't scoring very much the rest of the game. Because if the Panthers ain't keeping up, they're not going to be throwing the ball.
I mean, Panthers might be keeping it up, though. I know Vegas doesn't think so with the 14 game total or 13 point spread, but they've been playing better, man. So it's like, yeah, I'm still going to trust it.
Jalen Hurts is 22nd in the league in QBs for passing attempts.
Yeah,
behind Gardner Minshew.
I've made this
10 games.
I've made this case a bunch of times that they rely on the run for sure.
Daniel Jones, who's now on the Vikings, less attempts than him. So, like, that's my fear, is like they have 304 passing attempts through 12 games.
With Dallas Goedert out, man, that tightens back up there. It's right. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley catching passes. That is it.
Lewis, he needs to flex one. Xavier Legette, Sincere McCormick, Jake Ferguson, or Trey Tucker. I want Ferguson, I think, out of this one.
I think I do too, yeah.
CD Lamb's banged up, Cincinnati, the matchup, I think Ferguson's probably guaranteed at least 8 targets.
Alexander Madison might be back as well, which nukes Sincere McCormick a little bit. So, yeah.
And you guys just made the argument for Adam Thielen with, Legette has, either Cooper DeJean or Quinyon Mitchell.
Tough matchup there. So, yeah.
Jamie's got a fun one here. Amari Cooper or Deebo Samuel?
Gonna be Deebo for me. Unfortunately.
Who's Buffalo got here?
Rams. And I think because of that matchup, I think Amari Cooper.
Man, Deebo hasn't been great either though lately.
I know. My thought process of the Deebo is they just don't have anybody they have to use him. Give him some carries, please, Kyle.
I don't know, man. I think I'm going Amari here. I think I got to go Amari. Hasn't been great for either, but man, yeah, I'll go Amari.
As much as I hate Deebo Samuel, he's getting more volume than Amari Cooper. They are actually it's so bad as far as fantasy points averaging. As far as fantasy points averaging the past 3 weeks, they are 99th and 100th when it goes to wide receivers. Deebo is just slightly above Amari Cooper, and it's because he's getting about twice as many targets as Amari Cooper. So it's ugly, but they'll take Deebo out of that option. All right, Dame, what's up, man? Guten Tag. He needs 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Jacoby Myers, and Xavier Worthy. Jesus. Well,
we're sitting 2 of these guys. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're sitting 2.
I can't sit Garrett Wilson. I can't sit Garrett Wilson and Devontae Smith and Jacoby Myers. They're all seeing too much volume.
Do you want to start both Jets? Does it come down to which Jet receiver you want to?
Yes, because Garrett Wilson is still getting the volume. He's still seeing the targets. It's just Devontae's actually being more efficient with it. But Garrett Wilson is still seeing 8 targets a game. I'll go double check it real quick. But
the issue I'm having, Mike, how can you like 3 Jets players when their offense sucks so bad? That's what you like, Braylon Allen.
Because their defense sucks so bad.
You like Devontae Adams, and you like
Garrett Wilson's seen 8 targets a game the past 3 weeks. It's like, yeah, he's only averaging 8 fantasy points, but he's still seeing 8 targets. Like, you can't say that for Xavier Worthy. You can't say that for Devontae Smith. You can't really say that for Tyreek Hill. He hasn't been seeing 8 targets a game.
I'm honestly okay with sitting Tyreek Hill. I think that's
I'm sitting Devontae Smith.
Worthy.
I will reluctantly sit Devontae Smith too.
I think me and JJ are on Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Jacoby Myers.
Yeah. It's if you're worried about starting 2 Jets and throw Devontae Smith in there for whichever you at least get about. But yeah, I think that's probably the right way.
I mean, Garrett Wilson's getting 8 targets a game. Adams is getting 10 targets a game. Like that's plenty of volume. It's just Garrett Wilson needs to do something with it. All right. He's got another one here. He needs 2 flex. He's got JSN, Jalen Warren, Braylon Allen, Gus Edwards, Rashad White, Ray McLeod. Let's answer that one first. I think Braylon Allen is a lock.
And Rashad.
I think it's Braylon Allen and JSN. I mean, I get
Rashad White.
I'll go White and JSN here.
I go Braylon Allen and JSN, and then flex Jordan Addison or Calvin Ridley. Ridley's a safer bet. He's been seeing more targets since Hopkins was traded, compared to Addison. But if you're an underdog game, I think I go Jordan Addison. I think he offers a higher ceiling this week against the Falcons.
Just much more volatile.
Honestly, I'm going to go Addison. Yeah, give me Addison here. Straight up. Yeah.
What's up, Haley? Thanks for joining us. Oh, Baker Mayfield or Mahomes? Mahomes against the Chargers.
Baker. Yeah.
Yep. Last time the Chargers played Mahomes was outside the top 12. I know he's been hot lately, but I take Mayfield in a plus matchup against the Raiders. What's up, John? Thanks for joining us. He's got Hawkinson or K. Dotton, and give me Hawk all day on this one.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. K. Dotton, great matchup. Hawkinson, great volume.
Great player.
Yeah, that too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us as always, Brandon. This one's a rough one. It's got Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall, Ray Davis, Travis Homer, or Keon Coleman. Yeah, you were not lying, Brandon. You are cooked like most of the fantasy community this week.
And it's 10:30. Where are the injury updates? Give me.
I don't know. Let's answer the question, and then hopefully by the time we're done.
I know that's what I was talking about. Well, if DeAndre Swift, reluctantly, it might be Travis Homer. Unfortunately, that's completely disgusting.
Lucky Irving is active for week 14. That's the first one I've gotten so far.
Did Pearsall do anything in the blizzard last week?
No.
I was watching Yellowstone instead of that game.
Absolutely not. And then I don't think Ray Davis is an option here with James Cook. Mostert's inactive.
Brandon, if you could give us any players on the waiver wire, I really do not want to play any four of these guys if DeAndre Swift is playing. Travis Homer would be the one guy here. I don't want to play Keon Coleman.
Oh, Madison is inactive, so that helps Sincere McCormick.
Yeah. Here you go, Brandon. Go see if you can. Sincere McCormick, maybe if he's out on the waiver wire, maybe go ahead and get him.
Kendrick Miller active. I mean, I think Kendrick Miller's
active.
I think he's a solid deep dart, deep league dart. Kendrick Miller against the Giants here, who just allow so many rushing yards.
Never late, just earlier. Never wrong. Just
Brandon just said Abdullah. Do we go Amir Abdullah now? I mean, he's gonna get with passing down work.
Yeah, Sincere McCormick, but with Abdullah, they're going to be.
If you get kick return yards, Abdullah could be kind of a sneaky play there because he was returning kicks too.
Yeah,
I think I lean Abdullah, but that's if Swift's out because if Swift's in, it's Abdullah. If Swift's out, I think I still go Travis Homer, just because there's going to be volume there. Ooh, Dowdle or Charbonnet, full point PPR.
I'm going to go Dowdle still.
Walker is
yeah.
The thing about Charbonnet is he going to get the receiving work that Ken Walker was getting?
He does. He's pretty good out of the backfield. So I think
that was supposed to be
the case. Yeah, just Sharps hasn't been efficient as a runner on the ground throughout his career. That's what worries me here. And at times, I guess we've seen Dowdle be kind of good. I think I lean there, especially with Dallas's playmakers all dinged up and stuff. They may need to rely on Dowdle.
Yeah, I do lean Dowdle, and Arizona's run defense has been a little better as of late. So I'm like, if Charbonnet is going to do, Charbonnet is going to do it, it's going to be through the air. Which Dowdle, I mean, he's getting targets. He's getting 4 targets a game the past 3, so that's totally fine to keep up and to have a solid floor. What's up, Jacob? Pick 2 flexes: Isaac Guerrero, Rico Dowdle, Marvin Harrison, and Calvin Ridley. I think it's Dowdle and Ridley. I like Dowdle more than I like Isaac Guerrero this week.
I'll go Dowdle. I still want to throw Marv in there. I feel like. What did he do last week?
No, Marv against Seattle, I'm worried. He was shut down.
I think.
Marv, he was shut down against
last week. He was 5 for 16 a touchdown.
Oh, Seattle game.
Marvin Dowdle.
I go Dowdle and Ridley, and if I think Marvin is actually fourth out of this.
And go Dowdle and Ridley as well.
All right, pick one from each. Zaid, he's got Kyler, Herbert, Caleb. I think I lean Caleb in this one.
It's Caleb or Kyler, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Caleb as well.
And then he's got Disley, Juwan, Muthman, and Noah Gray or Calcaterra.
I'll go Muth here. I think we already answered this one before.
Yeah,
I went Jennings.
Yeah,
it's Muth, but if Lad McConkey's out, it's easily
or
Disley.
Johnson. Yeah, Juwan Johnson. Yep.
And then Bucks defense, Seahawks defense, Falcons defense. I think you can get the Falcons defense out of there going against Minnesota.
yeah.
I think I lean Seahawks defense against the Cardinals here. The Bucks defense hasn't been that great, and I do like AOC this week.
Although if there's one of these that had the blowout game, I could see Tampa Bay putting the boots to Vegas. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's go Seahawks.
All right. You got another one here. Waiver wire QB for week 14. Tua, Will Levis, or Herbert. I lean Tua. Give me Tua out of those two options.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tua as well, but I was reading the second part of his question, and that's brutal.
Tracy, Swift, Harris are my other running backs.
Who are you dropping out of those guys? That's what I mean. Jacob,
I think I dropped backup.
Probably
Jacob, do you have a backup quarterback, backup tight end?
Well, I just swore because
easy with the F words at 10:30 in the morning here.
Rappaport lied to us. He said George Pickens was active today, and Adam Schefter's now saying George Pickens is inactive.
I am seeing that too. Yeah, Pickens is inactive.
So is my swear word justified?
No,
I was misinformed.
Huh.
No, this is
That's very weird. Everybody, George Pickens is actually inactive, I guess.
Okay.
And,
maybe he threw a temper tantrum maybe he threw a temper tantrum this morning. Tomlin told him to sit down. Nothing surprised me with this guy. But
that's wild.
What injury is he dealing with? What is it?
Mental head case. I would drop Swift. I think out of these. Since the offensive coordinator change, man, I mean, it's not that great for
any
Swift.
of those guys. The problem is he's the only guy there, though, Mike. Roshan's banged up with the concussion, unfortunately. You got Travis Homer behind him, and we know who Travis Homer is, so
it's a hamstring, by the way, Dylan.
Okay.
Where is the news on DeAndre Swift?
I know. I don't have an answer for him.
If I had to drop someone, I would drop Swift. I'm not dropping Tracy. Najee's been killing it. Definitely not dropping
Malik
for the playoffs.
Malik Neighbors is active. All right.
I guess that's Swift too, Jacob, but I don't like it, man. I don't like it at all.
Ideally, you keep those 5 running backs to the playoffs and get by with one of the other quarterbacks. Yeah.
Backup defense, backup tight end, backup quarterback that you don't need any of those guys.
Here, I have a backup tight end, but it's Evan Ingram.
I wouldn't be.
Who's your starter, Jake? Who's your starter?
It's probably better if he's benching Ingram.
I think that I'm dropping Swift over Ingram, though. I mean, Ingram is consistent.
Oofda.
That's tough, though. Yeah.
No, Dylan, you made me lose my spot now.
No, I pulled it up for you. We got need to start 2 and a flex, or need to start 2 at the flex. DK, DJ, Braylon, and Joku. I think it's DK, DJ for me.
Man, DK hasn't scored against Arizona. Like, DK does not do well. I know Ike brought it up, and I definitely, shunned him for it, but Metcalf, the last time they played, they didn't, the highest scoring player in that matchup last time was JSN. So I am worried about Metcalf this week. I think it's DJ Moore and Braylon Allen for me.
With DJ Moore being banged up, I'm going Metcalf and Njoku. And before we move on to Kittle is his starter on that last question.
I'd probably drop Evan Ingram because I don't think you need him.
I don't know, man, because Kittle's been having those weeks. As a Kittle owner, man, he's just been randomly popping up and being out.
Yeah, I still think I'm dropping Swift out of that group. I'm just wrong with the if I have to drop somebody.
Those, I get it. You have good options, and it sucks dropping them, but I'd rather have 4 running backs. than one tight end.
Same. And Ingram's valuable too. Like he'll get picked up if you drop him. Like somebody will upgrade to Ingram for sure.
Correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a flex in the dynasty. He's got Wan'Dale Robinson, Demarcus Robinson, Calvin Austin, or Kareem Hunt.
Calvin Austin now with George Pickens being out, man.
Shit, that's a good point.
With Pickens being out, yeah. I guess Calvin Austin's
2 out of the last 3 weeks, anyways. I think
he's probably Muthman gets a total uptick in targets.
Yeah, I think if you want to play it safe here, you go Wan'Dale just because he's been getting pretty consistent targets. Like his down week last week, but he still got targets. And then if you want the upside, you go Calvin Austin, hope for a couple of deep ones.
Mm-hmm. Mac Jones or Elijah Moore in the super flex. The next question here.
Ooh,
Mac Jones.
I think you go the quarterback, but man, that's
most cases you go.
I don't have.
That's close. That's close.
Who's Jacksonville got, guys? Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's most of the times you're playing a QB in that super flex spot, unless you don't have it.
You don't have to, man.
The numbers ended up last week okay for Mac Jones, didn't they, overall? Like, what did he finish up as? 235 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, you go. I think you go Mac Jones.
Fair enough here. Sorry, Mike, my bad.
We actually answered this one already.
Yeah, we did.
And it was Caleb, Muthman, and Seahawks defense, just so you know, Zaid. Yep. Sean, what's up, man?
It is AOC even without the stack.
Yeah, definitely helped the stack there, but it's AOC 100%. Oh, Jamie, this is ugly. Jonathan Brooks or Blake Corum?
Brooks looked good with the little bit of touches he's had. I think they're going to start getting him worked in more and more. I'll go Brooks here.
I'm also okay with that, even though they're working at Blake pretty good last week as well, but I still lean Jonathan Brooks. Maybe he gets a little bit of the passing game work if
he'll get the passing
trailing
game
in this if they're trailing in this one too. So yeah, give me Brooks.
Like my number one line in Dynasty, Jonathan Brooks, by the way.
Yeah, I'd go Brooks as well. He saw the targets last week. He'll see the targets again this week.
I actually have a decent amount of shares of Jonathan Brooks because he fell so far in a lot of rookie drafts because of the ACL. Like I was getting him, scooping him up early second round in a lot of places.
Late first, early second. Yeah.
All right, next one here. John, thanks for always joining us, man. He's got David Njoku or Jonnu Smith.
Njoku, but this is close, and that's wild to say.
Who do the Dolphins got again? I'm forgetting.
The Jets.
Mm-hmm. Jets. Man, that one's a tough one. I still think it's Jonnu Smith. He's seeing just more volume. 30 targets the past 3 weeks, man. You can't pass that up. I know Njoku's getting touchdowns because James is just chucking it, but I still got to play it safe with Jonnu.
I think I'm going to lean with JJ here, go Njoku here.
I hate Jonnu, man. He's ruining that offense.
What's Njoku's targets been?
Njoku's targets. Let me look here.
My stat sheet had everything but targets on it.
Njoku, he has had 10.3 targets the past 3 weeks as well. Damn.
One in a blizzard too. One in a blizzard.
Njoku there.
6.3 6 receptions on those 10 targets. I still take Jonnu Smith though because he's catching 8 of his 10 targets compared to Njoku's 6. So like they're both seeing the same amount of volume.
A lot of Smith's targets I feel like a little bit more manufactured, like screens.
But that's we love that, yeah, especially with someone like Smith because he has the speed to take one to the house like we've seen.
Where the Njoku's going to attack down the seams a little bit more down the field,
yeah, he's going to carry people down the sideline. Steven, he's got 2 questions here. Full point PPR, Caleb or Russell Wilson? I think that one's Caleb.
Yeah, I'm with Caleb here.
Guys, do we got to pause on the start of Russell Wilson now this week? Because I know we've had a couple of Russ questions, and I don't remember if we ever said to start him. Are we just out on him now?
I
without George Pickens.
Out on him, but like, yeah, it's tough to start.
I'd be starting AOC over him. I'd be starting.
Would you start Will Levis over him?
No, I'd still go Russ on that one.
Okay.
Man, who's like the thing that Russell's been doing is he's either been dumping it off or he's throwing deep
shots. Yeah,
exactly. And if George Pickens is not going to be there to bail him out on these bad moon
it's Mike
shots.
Williams, big Mike.
Oh man,
it's his time to shine, man.
Nah, I'm good. And then we can just toss Pickens out of this one, Steven.
Yeah.
He was ruled inactive. But Najee Harris, McConkey, or Dowdle.
I feel like it's a smash Najee now without Pickens.
That a good point. Good point. Najee, yeah.
Against Cleveland, though, man. Cleveland's run defense is better than their pass defense. Okay, then I mean, so you'd play. You think Najee gets the bump over Dowdle this week because Pickens is out?
I think I'd be starting Najee over Dowdle anyways, but yeah. Man, I think Najee and Dowdle are kind of in that same tier. Like I don't strongly feel that way, but yeah, I would go Najee on that one barely.
Move.
Yep, that one's smooth, man.
Brandon. Yep.
This just kind of feels like the week where it kind of corrects for the Cowboys, and I think the Bengals kind of come out and kick our ass. Like we're not a good team, and especially if CD's hurt, man. Like we just got lucky that we ran into the Giants and the Commanders the last couple of weeks, and it just kind of worked out schedule-wise like that. But I think this is the week that it corrects, and we kind of see what level of team we are, and like what level of team the Bengals are. They just had some crazy bad luck. Like I was reading, like out of like the last quarterbacks that have started 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions through 12 games, like Burrow has, like the worst record in like the last 10 years was like 9-2 or something like that. So it's just been insane bad luck for the Bengals.
Just bad defensing because I think they've scored over 30 points like 6 times this year, and they've lost all those games. I'm pretty sure because the defense is allowing more points.
I say like most years when you have someone playing like how Burrow is, you're an 8, 9, 10 win team at this point in the season. So like I just think that the Bengals are a better team than we are, and you'll see that this week.
All right, and John, if you missed it, those two went Njoku. I went Jonnu Smith. Zaid, he's got another one here in light of the injuries. Waddle or Debo? Man, both have been brutal, but I'll take Waddle over Debo in this one.
Really interesting. How come on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Debo there.
I think I'll go Debo, but I'm curious why you go Waddle on that one.
Volume. I mean, it's just seeing more volume than Debo Samuel, and it's not much, but it's
not a lot for either. Yeah.
I mean, maybe Debo gets an uptick in rushing, attempts because CMC's out.
That's a good point. Yeah, with CMC and Mason being out.
I mean, I've just been watching the games. Debo doesn't look 100%.
He looks like he's lost this year. He's hurt something.
He looks like the senior tag that has been added to him. He looks like Debo Samuel Sr. this year. CK, half-point PPR, Sasir McCormick or Rashad White? I still go Rashad White in this one.
Yeah, I'll go Rashad White.
Yep.
See, that's what he says. Yeah, I'm not dropping Ingram in that situation.
Yeah, see, I'd rather drop the running back.
If there, I mean, ideally, you're keeping all those guys and just getting by for the week with whatever quarterback you have. But yeah.
You're welcome, Sean. Everybody, we love your questions. Yeah. You're the reason we're doing this. So answer, we're here to answer all your questions. Hopefully we can help you get in the playoffs. Jesper, he's got a half-point PPR here question. Start 2, Nick Chubb, Charbonnet, Addison, and Swift. He's starting Jefferson, but he's not sure about starting 2 receivers on the same team.
I've been starting Addison and Jefferson on one league all year long, and it's been working out fantastic. So I wouldn't be too worried about that with those two.
Well, I mean, he's starting 2 out of these. So, yeah, I think I'd lean Sharps and Addison in this one.
That's where I go.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
It is a good matchup where both of them could succeed. Falcons, I mean, the thing about them is they've just been playing cover 2 and letting everybody just eat up yards. But Addison can easily eat up yards in the middle of the field for him. So, what's up, David? You're in a really tough spot. Most of us are, man. We got to all win this week. Yeah. So hopefully we can help out. He needs to start 2 of them at the flex. He's got Travis Kelce, Lad McConkey, James Conner, Najee, and Ridley. I know you guys are going to say Najee, and I think he's a lock here with Pickens out as well. Mm-hmm. He's a lock, so it's definitely Najee just based on volume. I'm just not super thrilled about possible lack of efficiency from him this week. And then I'm more
with not knowing about the McConkey with him dealing with the shoulder and the knee now. So I think I'll go Trav here, man.
Yeah, I go with old reliable at this point.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel sexy like he used to.
I don't feel great about any of these guys really. Najee's probably the one I feel the best about. Even him, it's just like he's going to get a lot of touches. Maybe grinds his way to 4 yards carrying a touchdown.
Yeah.
Man, Travis Kelce is tight end 20 the past 3 weeks at tight end with 9.6 a game. Man, I think I lean Ridley and Najee
this week.
I'm talking this week too. Ridley has a good matchup here against the Jaguars. Their defense can't stop a college team at this point. So give me Calvin Ridley and Najee Harris. I think that's a good balance of ceiling and floor too, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like I'm not strong like Kelce over Ridley, so I'm good with that.
All right, Marshall, MVS or Adam Thielen? Leaning MVS, but he wants to know our thoughts. Well, you're going to see more volume Thielen's way, but it is a much tougher matchup. And MVS,
I'm gonna lean Thielen here. I'm not gonna do.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack on my previous statements and also go Thielen here.
MVS is basically your Walmart brand Nick Westbrook-Akini. So
yeah, it's a great comparison.
I think I lean Thielen here. It's because if you're not getting that touchdown from MVS, you're getting 2 for 20, where you're probably gonna at least get 5 receptions this week with Adam Thielen. It may just be for 40 yards. Yeah. You're welcome, Jesper. He's got Swift over Addison right now. Which do you think has a better floor?
I mean, if he's playing, he's healthy, probably Swift, but
yeah, agreed.
But at this point, I mean, can we people play through injuries
too? Addison's floor has been pretty good the last few weeks, hasn't it?
It has.
He threw in a clunker in the middle one, I think, or was it Thanksgiving?
So he had 4 for 54, 8 for 162 and a touchdown, and then 3 for 61 and a touchdown the last 3 weeks. So his floor the last month or so has been pretty solid.
That's another good matchup too.
Let's go Addison.
Yeah, I changed my mind actually after re-looking at it. Yeah, give me Addison.
Last 3 weeks, 8 targets, 9 targets. Last week was 6. So yeah, I think Addison. I think you're right. All right, and I got some questions here.
One more.
Oh, there's another one. I was gonna say, you guys. We're answering your live questions first, but we got some more if you don't have any.
You have Reddit pulled up, Mike? Is that where you were
I
going?
do. Yeah, I got Reddit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tank Bigsby or Amir Abdullah? And I think I lean Abdullah in this one. He's going to get – I know it's half-point PPR, but Bigsby's not getting any receiving work, and it's going to be Etienne who's getting the receiving work. If the Jags are down, it's probably going to be a heavy dose of Etienne. So I'd lean Abdullah.
Yeah, I go Abdullah, especially if there's any return yardage points, then it's definitely Abdullah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not in love with it, but yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby, RB 73 the past 3 weeks. So take it as it is. All right. All right, guys. It's a must-win situation, half-point PPR. All right, Dowdle and Brian Thomas Jr. in the flex.
Dowdle.
What was the scoring, did it say?
Half-point PPR.
Yeah, I'll go Dowdle.
That one's Dowdle for me as well. All right, we need 2 wide receivers here and 1 flex, so 3 in total. All right. Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, Pacheco, and Garendo.
You got to give me those once again. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, DJ Moore are your wide receivers. Pacheco and Garendo for the running backs.
How many is he starting?
He needs 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. So I think, the flex is Garendo, because we got 2 running backs to choose from for the flex. And I think your 2 wide receivers are Garrett Wilson and I guess DK, but I'm not backtracking on my statement with DK, and I'd still go DJ Moore even though he's banged up. He's just going to see more volume than DK. Do you need the names one more time?
I'm just rolling with what you said, man. That's too many names in there. Once you're giving me eight names at a time.
Five names.
My mind.
5. He's got James Conner, so his RBs are Cooks, Connor, Harris, Swift, and Tracy. Yeah, definitely drop Swift if you got James Conner as well.
Yeah, stop asking me this question. I don't like it.
Oh, Dylan, calm down. Any question we get asked, we're answering.
I'm just man. That's brutal.
That's
right there.
tough, man.
Yeah, because I know JJ, you said that Evan Ingram's valuable too, but someone's picking up Swift and they're probably upgrading their running back.
Yeah, that's true.
Well. So it's like
How much of an upgrade is Swift, though, to a running back room?
He was good earlier this year, though, man.
Yeah, he was good when
But
Eberflus was the coach. But since Thomas Brown's been the offensive coordinator, he's not been really involved. It's been a running back by committee with Roschon in there. And now I know you get Roschon's ruled out, but if DeAndre Swift is banged up and he's been banged up all week, maybe he gets the decoy treatment too.
I don't know, man. We got a couple more live ones here.
All right. What's up, George? He's got Gus Bus, Jerome Ford, Algier, Isaiah Davis, and Gainwell. Sounds horrible typing that. If you're just picking one out of those.
Gus Bus.
It's Gus. At least he's got the one locked up, yeah.
Yeah, it's Gus. Marshall, what's up, man? Oh my gosh. Justin Jefferson. Oh, that's a parlay. Okay. Justin Jefferson, Saquon, Kamara, Kyron, anytime touchdown for today. Well, Saquon's getting a touchdown. I like Kyron's. Yeah, I like Kyron's touchdown against the Bills.
I'll tell you on that. I'll put in a bet for that right now. I like that. I'll tell you.
That one's a good one, Marshall. Jacobs, what makes us high on Tyrone Tracy? When the Giants have trusted him and he's not fumbling the ball, he gets the majority of the workload, and he has been better than Devin Singletary.
He's good. He's just talented.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's
only his second year playing running back. Like, he was a college receiver. Like, he's still learning the position. Yeah, he's stud.
I'm surprised he's
biggest issue. He's got to take care of the ball.
With Malik Neighbors banged up, is he their best offensive player? I think he can make a case for it.
Oh, it's either that or it's Darius Slayton.
It's easily him, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I like Tyrone Tracy here.
You're welcome, George. Everybody, we love doing this. More questions, the merrier.
We appreciate you all. If you could help us out here, if we're helping you out, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're not already. We really do appreciate it. It helps us out more than you guys could think. So
that is placed, Marshall. I stand by my words there.
We got about five-ish more minutes before the DFS guys come in here and help set your DFS lineups, guys. So get them in. Otherwise, we got another question here from Reddit. One wide receiver, one flex, half-point PPR. Ridley, Brian Thomas Jr., Najee.
Ridley Najee.
Yes. It made it a little easier because another option in there was Pickens. But interesting. Okay, Adam Schefter. Tua or Hurts this week? Oh, you know what? Actually, this guy joined us on the show here because I remember answering this question.
That one, I think.
Yeah. And then standard DJ Moore or Tyrone Tracy in the flex.
Tyrone Tracy with DJ Moore being a little banged up.
With it being standard, we tend to lean running backs as well, higher touchdown upside. So I lean Tracy as well in that one.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that either. I agree.
All right, PPR flex, Braylon Allen or Devontae Smith?
Braylon Allen or Devontae Smith? Give me Smith here.
Yeah, I'll go Smith here too. I don't love it.
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go Braylon Allen. Give me the 15 touches.
I think that might end up being the right call, but I'll take the upside on Devontae here and just hope he has a couple long ones.
If he scores early, he'll hit, but that's my fear. If he doesn't score early, that's where I'm worried. Half PPR flex. We got 4 options, so listen closely. Nick Chubb, Sincere McCormick, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. That one I'll go Smith. Out of those options,
I feel like my brain just blanks out on these questions where I can't see the players written out in front of me.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I do the same thing when Dylan's reading them. Nick Chubb, Jalen Waddle, Sincere McCormick, and Devontae Smith. Pick one.
The Waddle. Don't love it, but I'll go Waddle.
All right. You got any more questions on the Facebook post? I can't unless I got to refresh this Reddit.
Did we answer Stafford, Caleb?
We did not.
I'll go Caleb.
Yeah, I lean Caleb as well. I think a little bit of a tougher matchup for Stafford, right?
It is a tougher matchup with the Bills. Man, I don't like it.
He also has Kyron and Puka in the lineup. If that changes your guys' opinion at all, it doesn't for me. I'm still gonna go Caleb.
Yep, that's where I'm going.
No, I guess I'll still go Caleb. And that sucks because Stafford with his full complement of weapons has been good. but this is a tough matchup. It is in LA, so he doesn't have to deal with the elements. I mean, I'm worried that we might be a little low on Stafford this week, but I will go Caleb.
And then did we answer Sincere McCormick or Braylon Allen?
I mean, I pretty much have. It's Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
I'm also all right with that as well.
Feels like I'm the highest out of Braylon Allen this week out of us three.
Yeah, for sure. I do got the Facebook post up as well, Mike. So we'll go MVS, Nick Westbrook-Akine, or Adam Thielen.
Oh, out of those options, give me the ceiling of Westbrook-Akine.
I agree with you on that one. I think just hope for the touchdown.
All of them have the same floor. Maybe Adam Thielen has a little bit higher of a floor. But yeah, when you got three guys that bad of a floor, give me the ceiling. Real quick,
keep riding
Jacob,
the good vibes with NWI for sure.
Jacob said Herbert, Tua, or Levis. We answered Tua. Oh, we got another one here. What's up, Matt? Pick 2 half-point PPR. Swift, Garendo, Sharbs. I'm gonna just lean the healthy.
The two
players.
healthy.
Yeah, give me Garendo and Sharbs.
Agreed.
Oh, getting an influx here. Start 2 full-point PPR. First week out of 2 playoffs. Hey, Dominic, that's what me and Dylan's leaguers like too as well. He's got Lamb versus Cincinnati, Judy versus Pittsburgh, Tracy versus Saints, DJ Moore versus 49ers. 2. He needs 2. I know.
Well, you're gonna go CD still.
Yeah, I know he's banged up, but you're still gonna go CD. Man, how do you sit Judy coming off of 250 receiving yards? I think I will lead. I think because the man, it was a snow game against Judy last game. Jameis was still targeting him. I'm still gonna go Judy with this one. He's the number 1 target. Cedric Tillman's not playing again. Give me Judy and Lamb.
I think that's probably the right answer.
I'm all right going there, but yeah, that's a tough question.
If Cedric Tillman was in, I think I'd lean Tracy. But since he's been ruled out again, it's Judy's the number 1 target there for a guy who loves to sling it. He does not check down, he chucks down. And that is Jameis Winston's motto.
Like it.
All right, guys. It is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we got to get out of the DFS guys' hair. So as always, it was a pleasure, answering these questions. It's always fun doing this. I love arguing with you guys. And I love it even more when you agree with me. But that's just my feelings. Before we head out, Dylan, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah. You can find me on X at dclemens2222. Catch me in the Discord. Talking NBA DFS. Check out the NBA DFS cheat sheet, and I'm here on Fridays. Yeah, Jake. Yeah. Let's go.
Don't let Dylan influence you.
Just catch me on the YouTube channel.
Man, that freaking 40-point Ingram game in week 16 against you is going to hit like fentanyl, man. That's going to be rough, bro. I'm telling you.
All right. And then, JJ, tell everybody where they can find you at. Although, before you guys head out, we do have one more question. But let everybody know.
Find me on Twitter, Dino NFL. Like and subscribe to the channel. Between those 2 things, you'll get everything that I'm doing.
Save those couple questions for Keith and Chris. I bet you they'd like to answer it. So.
I mean, I'm usually the one answering the start say questions behind the scene when they come up because they're, I want them to focus on DFS and helping people win money. But DJ Moore with the potential injury or Mooney versus Minnesota.
DJ for me.
Yeah, I go DJ Moore. Don't love it, but
I don't love it either.
Secondary's banged up, man.
It is. It's just DJ Moore. I slightly lean him. Mooney's been a little bit more disappointing as of late. But all right, guys, appreciate you. Good luck in your matchups this week. Hopefully you make the playoffs.
Peace.
Adios. All right, guys. Oh, good job, Dylan. Good job. All right, guys. Now it's time to win some money. Help me by welcoming in Keith Flemming and Chris Robbin. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Mike? How about them dogs?
Oh man, what a win, and a way to gut out the win too with the injury to Carson Beck and the backup QB coming in. That was a hell of a win.
I enjoyed it, that's for sure.
Michigan beat Ohio State. That's a successful season in my book. So
yeah.
I'll see myself.
That's a win.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, how about those Detroit Lions, Chris? Another big win. Friggin' your coach has got balls just like a Randy.
Oh my god!
I know.
Running
on a wheelbarrow. I love it.
Nuts. I was going to open with that when Mike splits and it's just you and I. Not that I'm going to talk bad about Mike. I never would, not to his face at least. But when I look at the week 14, I always thought, over the last few years when the Lions were bad, whenever they don't play, right, it's like a stress-free, anything goes, I can enjoy myself more kind of week. And so Thanksgiving they won, so I had 4 or 5 days, that main slate on Sunday, I was in peace. They won again on Thursday, and now today it's all peace. Correct. You could talk DFS and sports betting stuff, but I don't have to be like a nervous wreck. And I hate that I'm that way. I'd imagine everybody is a fan that way with their pro team, whether it's football, baseball, or whatever. But it's gotten really bad as I've gotten older. But I'm 40 now. In like Thursday night football, I watched every play, every snap, right? Like playoff baseball, every pitch, it is something. When I'm watching the Lions like play this well and win, I can't sleep. I didn't crash till like 2:45 in the morning, and I get up at like 6 for work, but I did all that. So Sunday today, I can be in peace, and whatever happens, and got one in the bank. Is that what they would say? Got it's in the bag. So whatever happens, happens.
All right. Well, I'll get out of you guys' hair so you can help other people get one in the bag. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Mike. I want to do really quick. I always like red Solo cup on a Sunday, right?
Yeah,
just
man.
for the heck of it, whether it's coffee or not. But you'll be very happy. I have Mountain Dew in my cup, Diet Mountain Dew, because I'm not a big sugar guy. But DMD always gets me to where I need to go when I need that little.
We need a sponsorship, push. Man. Where are you at, Mountain Dew? Come on, man.
I know. That's a Pepsi product, and I'd imagine they have so much
money. Well, actually,
money.
I think it's one that is
it's
like Dr. Pepper that you can be
the Pepsi or whatever they say.
Depending on the state, like it can be different.
You know what? I'm going to write that down. How about you give me your synopsis for week 14, and then I'm going to write down the idea that I'm going to email them. And they throw so much cash around anyways, DMD or Mountain Dew and Pepsi. I mean, they sponsor, dudes that have, that rollerblade professionally, or, the Healy, the shoes with the wheels. I mean, maybe we can get something going here with Mountain Dew. What do you look? What's week 14 looking like for you?
I would love that. Just also want to add Georgia, #1 soft drink in Georgia, believe it or not, with Coca-Cola is Mountain Dew. So there you go. Week 14, man, this is a week that I'm very excited about. I hope it doesn't blow up in my face, but I love the range because I'm playing basically 2 quarterbacks in cash. And we'll get more into it, but Caleb and Levis, who you can stack with wide receivers that I really like and pass catching options for very cheap. That allows me to then bully ball it because I want Barkley or Kamara in every lineup. And if I can get both of them in it, even better. And I think there's a lot of values, including like the news about Pickens that just came out. Pat Freiermuth, Calvin Austin, like there's a lot of cheap Steelers pass catchers that all of a sudden like are very intriguing. And I'm also just befuddled by some of these price tags. Like, can you explain to me how Drake London, because I'm a homer, and this is where I get worried, like, am I blinded by my Falcon, ism or whatever? He's 6,400. He's 6,400, right? Dude's had 51 targets the last 3 weeks. He is coming off a 15-target game where 50% of the first 3 targets went to Drake London, and they're playing Minnesota, who is dead last versus wide receivers. Why is he so cheap?
I have if I had to guess, and I don't want to bum you out, but probably that Kirk Cousins is the quarterback, which normally Kirk Cousins at quarterback used to be just a home run call every week from a DFS standpoint. Not that, he's all, how can I say this? He's going to throw 3-4 touchdowns, but he was a home run because of his price tag and the upside that always floated around him. But with him being their quarterback as of late, it could be a bummer. But if it helps, I have Drake London 9 or 10 targets, 6 to 7 receptions, at least 70 yards, and he probably find the end zone as well. What has he scored? 6 or 7 touchdowns already this season.
Yeah, he's been a beast. Yep.
Averaging just shy of like 11.5 yards a catch. So to me, it's a slam dunk. And I have a few here as well. And if we're just going to throw caution to the wind briefly, and we'll get back on track here. The fact that San Francisco has Isaac as their starting running back this week, and he's quick and he's going to get a majority of the targets and touches. He's like a neon sign, but that's no shock. It's no surprise. His ownership percentage is probably going to be through the roof, but I have Isaac 15, 16 targets, 75 to 80 yards. I think a touchdown on the ground for him is a lock to sweeten any, parlay bets that you have. I always like that, like one or two can't miss bets. You make like a lotto ticket in a way, and then you throw, 2 anytime touchdown bets at the end, and we'll go from there. Where are we going to go first, Keith? What game do you want to talk about? I have some highlighted stuff, red and green. Red means stop, green means go, and we'll get to them as we go. But where are we going to go first here?
So for me, it's Tampa Bay, Vegas. A lot of real values and just guys that I think are going to feast. The first is obviously Bucky Irvin, that beautiful bastard. Like what a back, man. Seen all kinds of great data about him this week. Over the last month, only Jamar Chase and Saquon Barkley are averaging more total yards per game than his 141. The fact that yards after contact, only Saquon Barkley has 7 yards more than Bucky Irvin. Bucky Irvin has 40 less carries in that situation. So, I mean, you're just seeing what kind of back he is. And what I really like about this matchup is actually what makes the Raiders so bad versus the run. They're not an awful run defense. They're kind of middle of the road. They can't stop pass catching backs. Like they give up over 5 receptions for basically about 12 yards per catch, almost a third of a touchdown per game. And everybody automatically assumes, it's Rachaad White. Rachaad White's pass catching back. Not right now. It's not. Bucky Irvin, over the last 5 games, 24 receptions, almost 5 receptions for him, including 2 games with 7 receptions. So you get Bucky on the ground and in the pass. I also am not worried about the injury because he got knocked out twice last week and he kept coming back in. So I love that. If you want to talk yourself into, including Evans or Baker or, Odd, and I don't hate those plays, either Sterling Shepard, but it's the other side that I'm really intrigued because Aiden O'Connell cooked a pretty good Chiefs defense last week, and his top 2 pass catchers, Bowers and Meyer, both excel, or at least from a fantasy perspective, when the Raiders are blitzed. Whoops, sorry, Nico's fired up. And the Bucks blitz the most of any team in the NFL. So that's
why isn't Nico in jail? I thought Nico should be in jail. What's he doing running around free?
We give him his yard time, So let me mute that real quick. You talk.
Have at it. Yeah, this game is one that I'm heavy on too. And who would have thought that over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've based my articles or my opinions on stacking up Tampa Bay and anybody they're playing. I mean, last week against Carolina was fantastic. That was a beautifully over game. And then here today, I do think Tampa Bay wins. By how much? We're looking at another over 35-21 kind of final. So then again, we work our way back. If Tampa Bay is going to score 35 points or 31 points and the Vegas Raiders score 21, where are they going to come from? Aiden O'Connell, what was featured in bottom of the barrel this week, as you said, he cooked the Chiefs defense to a certain extent. The end of the game was weird. Not a conspiracy theorist, but we'll move past that. I know a lot of other folks like to dig into that stuff, but I have Aiden O'Connell 24 to 25 completions, not attempts, but completions for 220 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And where are they going to go? It's got to be Brock Bowers. This guy, whatever you want to say, has been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable. And when you look at Tampa Bay, they're less than middle of the road. They're 25th, 26th overall against opposing tight ends. And Brock Bowers has, risen to the top of that, where in seasonal formats, dynasty formats, it's a grand slam, right? To try to acquire him or whatever you want to do there. But Brock Bowers, I would use him today over probably a half dozen other wide receivers. And the only issue there, you start to get into a salary deal, but he's $8,000 for a tight end. And then you can, do something silly in your flex spot. And we'll get to wide receivers, but Michael Wilson or Wan'Dale Robinson or something like that. And when we double back here, Bucky Irving, as you said, there's not much more to add. He had 25 total carries last week for 152 yards. You said he kept getting knocked out and coming back in. He was like Michael Myers, where he's laying flat and then you sit up, or the Undertaker.
Yes.
However you want to put it. I recently saw it's an old clip, and it's not what is that called? Kayfabe when the audience. Yeah. Where him and Kane are laying on the mat and they both sit up at the same time, and everybody thought that's amazing, but then they zoom in and Undertaker kind of goes like on Kane's arm, and then that means let's go, let's sit up, and we'll go from there. But one player I want to mention, and
I'll just say before we move on this, I just want to add with Meyer Bowers, because I had this in the article this week. 82 pass attempts the last 2 weeks, 40 of them have gone to Myers and Bowers. And then this is a Bucs team that blitzes basically 19 times a game. It's the most in the NFL. Bowers, yards per route run versus most coverages, 2.32. When blitz, 2.76. Myers versus most coverage, 1.86 yards per route run. When blitz, 2.63. This is actually a great situation for both of them.
Yeah, I've at the tail end of the last broadcast, there was questions, Sincere McCormick or Brandon Cook, Sincere McCormick or Travis Etienne. What are we doing with Sincere McCormick? I'm using him in certain spots if possible. He took full advantage last week with Mattinson and Zamir White were both sidelined. It looks like the Raiders' running game has struggled, obviously, but it's all good with Aiden under the center throwing the ball. But he's averaging 5.7 yards a carry on only 17, totes. So it's kind of totes magotes. It's kind of a limited sample size, but it's not clear if either, maybe I'm off here, but Mattinson or Zamir White, I don't know what their status is or will be prior to 1 p.m., but it looks as though Sincere is completely leapfrogged, at least Zamir White
has been ruled out.
Beautiful. Not,
and so is White. So I know what you mean, but to your point,
it's going to be a full McCormick kind of game here, and he's going to see a significant role again. And the Buccaneers, they're in the bottom 10 overall in terms of yardage allowed per carry to running back. So Sincere, I sincerely tell you to start Sincere McCormick in any format that you can get your hands on. And let me take us for a little drive briefly. Sure. As you said, Tampa Bay, Vegas is wonderful. There's something going on in the New Orleans Saints plays the Giants. They're in New York this week. And when you look at what the Saints have, like you mentioned, befuddled maybe 10 minutes ago, something like that. The Saints overall have befuddled me. And when you look up and down their roster against a awful, reeling, however you want to put it, Giants team, there's some substantial usages here that I'm in on the Saints. And again, everybody's going to run towards Taysom Hill, Foster Moreau maybe. But look at this. The Giants, if they do one thing well, they get after tight ends, right? They're first overall against opposing tight ends. And I know you mentioned Alvin Kamara, and that's probably because it's a mixture of things. One of them being that the Giants are 25th overall against opposing running backs. And Alvin Kamara, he's like steady Eddie. Whatever you need from him, he's just rolling. And it seems to me, Alvin Kamara is that weird where he still seems like he's 20 years old and he's speed 20 miles an hour down the sideline with his legs, but he's also a seasoned vet and he's 35. It's like right in between there. So as you said, Alvin Kamara, I want to hear your spiel on Alvin because I have some projections for him that might not do it justice, that whatever we will say is going to completely blow it out of the water, which is nuts for like 20 carries, five receptions. So just locked in as a 25 total touches as a floor with 130 yards as a floor and one touchdown as a floor. This could be a 2-3 touchdown game for Alvin. Therefore, he's got the green check mark. What do you do? What is your thought process on him?
I freaking love him. And this is why I love doing the DFS show with Joe Matz, because Barkley's a slam dunk this week. And we'll get to him in a minute as well. Obviously what he's done, facing the Panthers, but you talked about how bad the Giants are versus the run. That's with Dexter Lawrence in the lineup, their best run stopper. Guess what? Dexter Lawrence is done for the year. And we saw this last week when he went out in the first half and the Dallas Cowboys are all of a sudden running all over them. Rico Dowdle had not had a 100-yard rushing day all season. He had not had a rushing touchdown all season. He went over 100 yards and got a touchdown in that second half without Dexter Lawrence. And then on top of that, what really makes me giddy, there's no Taysom Hill to vulture red zone touches, which that's always the big thing with Kamara is you'll see him, do all the work and then they give it to Hill right there inside the 5, which I understand the thought process of that. It's so much less when Taysom's out. Taysom is out this week. So you're getting both the Giants, who are already a bad run defense, without a doubt their best run stopper out. Like he's not going to be playing. And then the one thing that, kind of holds you back from Alvin Kamara, he's not there either. So, like, I'm with you. Like, it would not surprise me if all Kamara has at least 100 for 100's the floor. I see like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I'm almost to the point, like talking it through this week, to where I like him actually a little bit better than Barkley because you're saving $1,000, even though he's, technically playing the worst run defense.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And rarely, maybe I shouldn't say rarely, but how often in your DFS playing career have you seen, a slam dunk, or you've, run some numbers and you spent a few days, letting it simmer, and then said player does exactly as he's expected to do on Sunday? It's few and far between. If you're a GPP slappy like me, or even a cash guy, you're expecting X amount from each guy. And this week, as you mentioned, Alvin playing the Giants, I think everything we're expecting of him happens and then some. It won't even. It's going to be wonderful. One thing I want to mention as we move on, because again, it's 12:19, around 20 minutes after 12. We have 40 minutes before the 1 p.m. lock. And so, like, Philadelphia Eagles, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs, those 3 teams I have highlighted because they're, in great spots, right? And you could say Buffalo and Philly are a little bit better than Kansas City in power rankings, whatever you want to do. But in terms of DFS and sports betting, all the Eagles are going to be at the limit of ownership. Buffalo Bills as well. They're playing at the Rams. When you look at Carolina on the flip side, he had that funny feeling last week that they were going to put something together a la Bryce Young, and he looked formidable as a professional quarterback. But when we look at the Eagles, everything is right in front of them for this week and for the foreseeable future. Team implied point totals have Philadelphia to win like 31-14, 34-15. 15, that would be probably a scoreagami, but numbers are numbers. I have Philadelphia to win 31-14. So what can we do if we're going to stack up the Philadelphia Eagles? And you could talk about Saquon here in a minute. We stack up Philadelphia Eagles. It's through the roof. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, and maybe even Kenneth Gainwell in a game where Carolina's dead last against opposing running backs. There will be some garbage time. You're stacking Saquon, Jalen Hurts. What's the run back option for you on the Carolina side of things?
I mean, Adam Thielen is the first guy. He's 5,200. And because I'm a nerd and this is the stuff I like to do, I went back and looked. He's played 21 games with Bryce Young. 9 of them, he scored 20 or more points. So, you're talking about like a 40% clip. When he plays with Bryce Young, he's going to score 20 plus, and he's only 5,200. He immediately has been thrust back into just the number one target in that office. I think he's a great play. I like Jatavian Sanders this week. If he's a go, this is a guy that has been really good. Like, he's basically a wide receiver that plays tight end, a la like an Isaiah Likely type guy. And we both agree that we think the Eagles are going to be up. That means that the Panthers are not going to be asking their tight ends to block very much. They're going to be asking them to go out and run routes. So, I mean, obviously make sure Sanders is cleared, because I know he was still questionable as of like 15, 20 minutes ago. But if he's a go, he's, a very reasonable price. Also on the Eagles, like, I think Grant Calcaterra is a very good, value. Like, the Panthers, I think, are dead last versus tight ends. He scored at least 9 points each week that, Goddard's been out, which Goddard is out again this week. And then Devontae Smith also is much more viable in the games that Goddard's out. We've seen that this year. Like, that basically when Goddard's out, that makes it to where it's not just a Saquon, Hurts, Barkley offense, it really then becomes where there can at least be one other person, and usually that's Devontae Smith, but it could also be Calcaterra. And I do think like Carolina's going to be able to score some points, because the one thing Philly does not do is get a ton of pressure. They have the eighth least pressure rate, and a lot of it's the scheme. They play cover 2 that they always rush 4. But I just think that with what we've seen from Bryce, he's been really good, particularly when he's not pressured, because he's gotten much more accurate, doing much better throwing into smaller windows. And then that also brings in guys like Leggett. And again, with Coker out, you got David Moore, who, I don't know why he's seeing 7 to 8 targets every week, but he is. And I just think if you, like me, you think the Eagles are going to roll, which I do, that just means that Carolina's going to be throwing a lot. That's good for all their pass catchers. And then just real quick on Barkley, I know he's 9K. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but dude has over 1,000 yards his last 7 games. And he's facing a Carolina team that allows by almost 20 yards more than the second worst team, the most rushing yards to opposing running backs. They give up the most touchdowns to opposing running backs, and they're third in the most yards per carry at 4.9. And here comes Saquon, who just, I think he's, on a path to try to break every rushing record there is.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and so has the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles so far. As we move along, we talked to LA, or the Vegas Raiders, I should say, at Tampa Bay. There's also something drawing me, and this is another highlighted green. As I said, I had the New Orleans Saints, Miami Dolphins, which we can double back to. But I want to speak, let's go right to Tennessee, because you had mentioned Will Levis. He's been a mainstay in bottom of the barrel the last few weeks since he has been the starting quarterback again. And Will Levis, 6'6" on FanDuel, only $5,000 on DK, looking at 21 to 22 completions. Let me bring my notes clear. I said you're talking out of the side of my face here. 21 to 22 completions, 250 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And I have Will like another 25 to 30 yards on the ground, which those at rushing yards add up quicker than passing yards for quarterbacks on like 5 to 6 carries. What's your mindset with Will? Aside from, I'll give you a semi softball. I'll give you a curveball. You know it's coming. Why do you like Will Levis, aside from the fact that Jacksonville's DVP and what Jacksonville allows to opposing quarterbacks? Why Will this week?
Because they're so bad versus the pass. Like it is unbelievable. Normally passer rating is a stat that I don't pay attention to. When the opposing QB's passer rating is 110 for the season, and we're at a 12-game sample, that is a bad pass defense. And if you look at DVOA, they're much better versus the run than you think. Like they're actually 16th versus the run DVOA, obviously dead last versus the pass. That immediately becomes to me a pass funnel. Then the really big thing, and it's why I love Ridley particularly, like Westbrook-Ikini, yeah, he's been a great story and he could still score today. It's a great matchup, but Ridley's the guy in cash that should be in your lineups. He's under 6K. And this is a Jacksonville team that runs man 45% of the time. It's one of the 2 highest rates in the NFL. Ridley is very bad versus zone, very good versus man. He's scoring almost 1.5 points more per target. We're talking fantasy points per target when facing man defenses. His target rate gets up to 38% versus man defense. And this is a Jacksonville team that that's all they do. That's all they do is play man. And if you believe, and I got to give you credit here that, you've been talking about Will Levis so much, I've paid attention to it. That's why I'm okay with cash. He's gone a month with scoring 16 points or more. Again, our main goal is the 3X, right? Well, if he's 5K, I just need 15 points for a floor and I'm good. He's done that 4 weeks in a row against much better pass defenses than Jacksonville. He's played Minnesota. He's played Washington. He's played Houston. Actually pretty good pass defenses. He's done that. And now he gets this cupcake matchup of Jacksonville. And I know some people think Tony Pollard's going to run all over, but again, by DVOA, which is my favorite stat to follow because it accounts, strength of the opponent, all that stuff. They're 16th. That's middle of the road. That's not bad. 32nd, dead last, that is. I think Levis is going to have a monster game. He has that 30, 40 rushing yards. I think he legit could be a top 5 quarterback this week.
Yeah, and that's the sweet end of the deal here with running back. So we mentioned Miami, and we'll come back to that game. Well, let's get there now. The Jets go to Miami, in the AFC East matchup. These two teams have always been the bottom of their division all them years. The Patriots were running roughshod around that division, but things have changed. I mean, the Lions are number one in the league. That tells you all you need to know. Would be a little bit better. Can you imagine an NFL where the Lions were first, or these three teams in any order? Detroit, the Jets, and Cleveland. Well, imagine that 1, 2, 3 overall.
Imagine when we get a Lions-Bills Super Bowl in February, buddy. The world might explode. Who knows?
That'd be fantastic. I was a little boy when they made it four years in a row and lost every time with Jim Kelly under center. And I for some odd reason, it like 8 years old, 9 years old. I always remember like all of us would go play outside, and then how it is now with dudes our age. Anytime you ball up a piece of trash and you throw it in the trash, you go Kobe. There was what was that guy's kicker? He was like a left.
You talking about Norwood, the one that missed the field goal?
Didn't he shank it two Super Bowls in a row or something like?
Well, I mean,
maybe it was the one.
He missed the one, and that was the first one. And then I felt like that got it because that Bills team, like they don't get the. I mean, think about going to 4 straight Super Bowls. I know they didn't win any of them. Like that's a really good team.
That's insane. That is insane. And we're glad. I'm glad Jim Kelly is happy and healthy.
Yep.
He had mouth and throat cancer. He was actually, they gave him a bunch of time when Buffalo played the snow game. What was it? A Thursday night, Sunday night. And there was a lot of, packages drawn up for him to chat. Jim Kelly is a phenomenal quarterback, but let's get back to the Jets here and now. We could do nostalgia all day, especially with wrestling the way it is. But when we look at the Jets at Miami, I mean, everybody's tossed Aaron Rodgers aside, rightfully so. Not that this matters in sports betting or DFS circles. There's the dude obviously has some sort of personality disorder. Everybody in his life and around him, they split. And he says that it's one of those classic, toxic traits when if I were to sit up here and go, it's everybody else's problem, but
it's not me, it's you.
And everybody else is saying, and it's not in unison. And his last girlfriend, Shayna Woodley, said her life sucked. It was so bad when she was with him. But yet Aaron Rodgers is not the problem. His own parents, family, and brother want nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine the Jets locker room is the same way, but that's their job. They're kind of paid to be there. But when we look at this one, now I guess it doesn't matter. Nonsense. We got about 31 minutes before kickoff. A lot of folks that there's been a lot of this or that, and this has been Braylon Allen as the running back, and that's because it looks as though Breece Hall is officially inactive today. He's out, and he around $1,300 on FanDuel. So that matchup is still there. But Braylon Allen is 5'2". He's less than $3,000 on FanDuel. I know that you probably didn't want to talk about this game, kind of sprung it on you. But on the flip side, Miami, the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I have about 4 teams to score 30 points, at least on the main slate. I have Miami to hang 30 points. I have Philadelphia to hang 31 points, Tampa Bay to score 35 points, and then Buffalo, which we'll get to, 425 game to score 31 points. So of those 4 teams, I'd like to think that Miami has a shot here to move the needle, but it's like going to be one of those, we didn't see it coming. Is it a Jalen Waddle up 2 touchdown game, 100 yards and a score? But the Jets are still first overall against opposing wide receivers. Any thoughts on this one? I just wanted to mention it. Don't have to spend a ton of time.
No, I'm with you. Like Tua was almost in my cash lines, but because the money I saved with Caleb and Levis, and then what it allows me to do, I didn't get there. But remember, Sauce Gardner is out. That is a huge deal. Like that's going to change the entire way
that probably inflates the DVP to a certain extent.
A little bit
for one guy to do.
I actually think though, like Janu Smith, for instance, he's 50, I think 200 or 300 on DraftKings. I think he's going to be low on because people are going to look and see that 4th place matchup, and it's like, I don't know. Like the Jets play a lot of man. He's been cooking man here lately. Like he's actually been the guy that they're going to. I'm 100% with you. Like I think Tua is going to cook this team. This is still a Jets team, good versus the run. Allen, like if you want to play him in GPP, I'm okay with it. But just remember, this Dolphins team, very good versus the run. Like they have real issues versus the pass, but they are a very solid team versus running backs. And Allen, since that like little stretch he had where we're like, should he start him over Breece Hall? 2.9 yards per carry, I think, since week 6. So now it's been a small sample size. He's not getting more than like 8-9 carries. But to me, like in that price range, I would rather pay up a few $100, play Garindo, or, you know what I'm saying, or spend down a few $100 and play Charbonnet than play Allen, because I think it's a tough matchup. And again, I think the Dolphins, like you were saying, are going to score, and that means the Jets are going to be down.
Yeah, and we'll go from there. The Jets are absolutely awful right now, and he's already said maybe this is fluff, and he didn't see, social media is so convoluted with nonsense. But last I had heard, not quoting him or anybody else, but I still want to play next year, but I don't want to play for the Jets. Can you imagine living your life like that? Well, get this, Keith. I still want to write and broadcast. I just don't want to be with Fantasy Six Pack this next. I mean, who in their right mind can live a life like that, a life of luxury, and we go from there.
When you have a lower winning percentage than Zach Wilson, come on, bro. Like, really?
To be fair, I think he's only hurting and tarnishing his legacy, which people have blown up to, mythical proportions for a guy that's won only the one Super Bowl, but he's got all these individual statistics that, like MVPs and, such a ton of touchdowns a season and low interceptions. I mean, he's hurting himself by now, but he doesn't care. He doesn't see it. The true classic narcissism. Where do we want to go next? We have a handful of games still left in the 4 p.m. slate, the 4 p.m. schedule. And per usual, I'm moving all my chips into that 4 o'clock only, 4 p.m. only. And even there's an express slate this week, which is only 2 games, which is lovely. Buffalo at the Rams, Chicago at
Chicago, San Francisco. Because I love, again, Caleb this week, to me, slam dunk. I don't think people realize this. Since Thomas Brown took over 3 weeks ago, Caleb Williams is 5th on DraftKings in points per game. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The big deal for me, 140 rushing yards, which that's huge. That's like basically 5 free points for Caleb each week before he throws the ball.
Yeah,
and what I love, they've condensed the offense. Like, you can tell what they've done. 69% of their passes over the last 3 weeks have gone to Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Both DJ Moore and Keenan Allen have both seen 30-plus targets last year. So they're both averaging 10 targets per game the last 3 weeks. And you take quarterback at, 5,600, pair him with Keenan Allen at 5,600. You want to pair him with DJ Moore, I believe 6,100. Like, you could double stack that for a very reasonable price. I like that. And this San Francisco defense is a mash unit. Like, it's really sad the season that they've had. Of the 11 starters, which, by the way, they brought every one of them back from their Super Bowl defense last year, 3 of them are starting this week. That is how banged up they are. And the big thing is Bosa's out again, which he is the one that if he's in there, totally different team, because they can get pressure. And
he's the engine. He's the engine, like Aiden Hutchinson in a way, but not trying to make this about me or the Lions. But
no, but I mean, you're right. Like, it is like it's such a big loss, and I just think that they're going to have a really tough time stopping Chicago's passing game. And then the good news is, or not good news, because again, like you're saying, I don't root anybody to be hurt, but with Roshan Johnson out and DeAndre Swift banged up, I just think that means they're going to lean more on Caleb potentially with his legs, and obviously throw him more. This is a team that they've thrown it 41.5 times since Thomas Brown has taken over per game. And then on the other side, like, obviously Kittle has a great matchup, particularly if you get into a situation where, like me, you think Chicago's going to score and San Francisco's throwing. And Garindo, it is a good matchup because the Bears, kind of like what I was talking about with the Jaguars, but it's inverse. It is very difficult to throw on the Bears. It's much easier to run on them. So they're going to come out and try to run it with Garindo. And for this week, I am confident he's going to get like 90 to 100% of snaps, just like Jordan Mason did, early in the season. And it's a small sample size, but he's actually averaging more yards per carry than Jordan Mason this season. He's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. He's a talented guy, and he has a little bit more pass catching upside than Jordan Mason did, like a little bit more like CMC. So, like, I do like a lot of players in this game, and even like, Juwan Jennings. I know it's a really tough matchup. I just talked about it, but 11 plus targets in his last 2 games, not in a snowstorm with Brock Purdy starting, and a 41% first read target share. So that's a lot of volume for a guy that's only 5,200, in DraftKings.
Yeah, and it was. I feel like Garindo was everybody had maybe overlooked him at first. I mean, he the classic case of picking up steam, as the week had gone on, and with CMC out and Mason out, what are they left with? And again, Garendo is in a beautiful spot. Price tag is very sweet. I want to mention, not that I want anything to do with Ricky Pearsall, but what the heck is going on with him, or lack thereof? He's seeing some targets, but last I looked, he's got 3 straight goose eggs, bagels, 0-0-0. And again, that first goose egg a few weeks ago was what, Brock Purdy did not play that game, but Brock has been back.
But then they had the snow game. So like, this would be where if he has another like goose egg, I would be concerned. But just remember the last 2 games, it was a snowstorm and no Purdy. So like, I don't really count those as like, that was just a mess for the Niners, to be honest.
If I had to, I'll name all 3 of them, and I want you, can you put them in order? I know you've been in more stressful spots than this, but the Bears wide receivers, and by the way, DJ Moore is now going to be active. He's expected to suit up. So DJ Moore, Keenan, let me do it in reverse, because you could just say, well, in the order you said them. I don't want it easy. So let's go Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. You're of important.
You're talking about including in DFS price, or are you saying
all
just
DFS, just however it is, price tag, output, value? What's your top? How do you do the top 3?
So unfortunately, Odunze is definitely at the bottom. It's a weird stack because he's getting volume. Like, he's actually had, I think, 25 targets in the time that 30 and 31 for Moore and Allen. The difference is, for whatever reason, he's very inaccurate when he targets Odunze. It's shocking. It's by far the most inaccurate he is with any pass catcher in this Bears offense is when Caleb throws to him. So he's the one that I'm not really considering now that DJ Moore is playing. I still would probably put Allen slightly above Moore because you're saving $600. That's always nice. He's had actually technically 1 more target. He's had 2 20-point games too, caught 3 of his 5 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. And you don't have to worry about aggravating the injury, with Keenan Allen and something go out, but they're very close because I love both of them. I have Caleb's my most played QB this week, and he's either stacked with Allen or Moore. And there is a couple lineups where I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to play them both because, I mean, again, they've had both 30 targets over the last 3 weeks. So if you're telling me they're both going to get 10 targets, I like the chances all 3 of those guys having good days.
And to be fair, as you said, Caleb Williams has looked outstanding the last few games. I mean, almost surgical in a way, where he's been, putting the football, placing the football. Let's I should say rewind, but if we're talking about 4 p.m. games, we'll rewind to 1 p.m. I want to spend a minute, and I'll toss it to you first. But Cleveland is at Pittsburgh. It's a divisional game. These 2 teams hate each other. Aside from the NFC North, the AFC North is my favorite division. These teams go nuts on each other. Baltimore's
not
in
the old
division.
AFC North right anymore. It's not this smash mouth. Now it's like shootouts galore.
Yeah, but Cleveland at Pittsburgh, over-unders around 44.5 points. I'll give you some incidentals or some housekeeping stuff briefly. The over-under, it opened at 44.5. Now at this moment in time, it's down to 42.5. Cleveland is getting 6 points on the road in Pittsburgh. Makes sense given, Pittsburgh's record, but Cleveland has looked, they've looked fun. I don't want to say good or bad. They've looked very fun and very, usable in DFS formats. Do you have an opinion on this one? And I know you mentioned that there was news about George Pickens. I see the questionable tag next to his name.
He's out. He's out. They ruled him out. So like that is only, I still like the over. Like I can't believe he's worth 2 points because it sounds like that's probably what happened was once it, became his, came in doubt that it went down. I'd be shocked because especially, think about how often Winston throws a pick 6. So you got that on top of everything else. But like Calvin Austin's 3,300, obviously he's going to see a higher volume. Pat Freiermuth, 3,700, he's going to see a higher volume. And this is a really bad Cleveland secondary. Like for all that's been made about everything with, shootouts, whatever. Seriously, like the Browns have just been getting cooked by everybody in the passing game here lately. And Russ is coming off a 400-yard game. So like, I do like, their Pat, but on the other side, like take your pick again, like almost all the things I'm saying for the Bears, it's basically the same thing with Cleveland. Just Winston doesn't have the rushing upside Caleb does because you got Jerry Jeudy had 230 yards. He had the least targets of the 3 guys last week because you got Njoku, Moore, and him constantly just seeing, again, 7 to 12 targets. I think Elijah Moore is a very good play for cash. He's 4,800. He's averaging 9 targets per game over his last 4. And again, Tillman's not going to play. So you're going to have that option. I actually do think Pittsburgh's going to win this game fairly easy, be up 10 points, say late in the game or whatever. A situation where, to your point, Cleveland's going to cook, because when Jameis throws, good things happen. Now, bad things happen too. But we made the point earlier, when you throw a pick 6, the good news is it just means you get more opportunities. You don't have to wait. Yeah, exactly. So that's a win-win. You lose 2 points there, but so no, I love, you take any of those 3 Browns pass catchers. I'm not going to hate on you at all for playing them. And I do even in cash now with Pickens out, going with, an Austin, or if you think it's a Van Jefferson, or, because he's going to have to throw it to somebody. I think it's going to be Freiermuth and Austin that benefit the most, but it could be anybody. And obviously then the Steelers backs probably are going to be leaned on more, because I know you're a big Warren guy. You would think that he's going to be involved more in the passing game.
Yeah, I have Jaylen Warren, and this was all prior to the news of Pickens, but I guess the carries would stay the same regardless of if Pickens is in or out. I have Jaylen Warren 8-9 carries, around 40 yards. I did have him 3 to 4 receptions for 30 yards, but we've seen Warren has done some damage when he catches the ball out of the backfield. And he'll split. So I had him for 3 to 4 receptions for around 30 yards. Why not bump it up a catch or two? So let's say 4 to 5 receptions and double the yardage, right?
Player prop parlays, that's something I would look at for sure. Him and Pat Freiermuth should both probably be able to go over whatever their number is now. Easily.
Yeah, let's say he cracks one for 25 or 30 yards on one catch. So to me, 4 to 5 receptions for about 55 to 60 yards. I did mention Darnell Washington in bottom of the barrel, having, I didn't even know it was, was it a crystal ball moment? Who knows? But Darnell Washington, 4.6 on FanDuel, only 2.8 on DK. As you said, and I agree with you, Calvin Austin III and Freiermuth are going to see a lot more action. And Calvin Austin has become that downfield threat that every team, looks to produce on their team. Aside from their wide receiver one, you need that guy who can stretch things out, and you're going to get 2 to 3, targets a game, and one of them could go for 30, 40 yards. If it's a touchdown, it's even better. So moving on, we'll do a time check briefly. It's 12:44 p.m. Eastern time. We have about 16 minutes before the 1 p.m. lock, and there's a lot to get to, a lot of stress-free, wonderful football for me in my household, at least. Christmas tree is up. Beastie's sleeping under it.
Must be nice.
So I can just move around in peace if that's how I choose, which I will. Let's talk about Seattle and Arizona. We've kind of buzzed through these games. It's fantastic. Only, what do we got? About 3 or 4 left. We can talk about the Chargers at Kansas City. It is Sunday Night Football, but I still shocked that they add in Sunday Night Football on the main slate. Now I think it's not fun to do a main slate where you got to wait then for Sunday Night Football, right? It's like you're winning $1,000, and then you got to wait for Sunday Night Football.
Is that a FanDuel thing? Because DraftKings still doesn't do that.
Yeah, it must be a FanDuel thing because like I said, you put in $100, you're winning $1,000, and it would be a done deal.
Wait. Yeah.
In the first play of the game, Will Dissly, catches a 20-30 yard pass, and you're out. You went from $1,000 to 25 cents. You're like, oh, damn it. So let's talk about Seattle at Arizona. Not really, an exciting, interesting game in my book from a final score projection or over under. It's about 44.5 points. I'll double check it. Yeah, again, another game that's actually stayed the same in terms of team implied point totals. You have Seattle projected to score 20.8. You round up to 21, but Arizona's projected at 23.4. So if you're just basing everything on that, you're looking at a 24 to 21 final score. Arizona wins this one, but I have Seattle to win in an under around 20 to 17. How do we get to those points? We shall see. I do remember you mentioned Zach Charbonnet in passing when you're talking about building and you got a couple extra bucks here. Was there a reason you mentioned Charbonnet or just off the top of your head?
Walker's out. 4,800 on DraftKings for a guy that catches a lot of passes. He's played 2 games this year where he's played 90% of the snaps. He was a top running back both weeks. So I mean, for 4,800, it is a really tough matchup. And I agree with you. I think this is going to be a dogfight. Like, the only guys for cash I can recommend are McBride and Charbonnet on each side of this. But I do think he's worth the play in cash because it's a salary save. You're getting a guy 4,800 who's a starting back who catches passes where you're getting a full point PPR.
Yeah, it's lovely. And that's about it here. Again, we had Michael Wilson had some phenomenal catches last week. One of them was a circus catch. It was batted, and, concentration is everything. So I'm willing to go back to the well a little bit with Michael Wilson and see what we get. I have him projected around 80% of the offensive snaps. That's, a fantastic thing. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s in play. The difference in skill set is as it should be. Marvin Harrison, people keep throwing around that generational talent kind of deal. And Marvin Harrison hasn't blown the doors off of anything. I think he finds his way. But as of right now, Seattle 17th overall against opposing wide receivers, which is literally right in the middle of things. Going back to that, there's been a switch. A leapfrog here where going into the season, it was DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith-Njigba was kind of hanging around. And everything that's going on right now with these Seattle wide receivers, it was expected, at least in like a dynasty football, family or dynasty football channels here. Jackson Smith-Njigba is now more expensive on FanDuel, at least, than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Lockett is kind of faded away, which is a bummer because Lockett's always been the speedster. But Jackson Smith-Njigba has been featured a lot more, and he's done very well in that role. Njigba, $8,000 on FanDuel. What are we going to do? 8-9 targets? I'm thinking with Njigba, 100 yards and a touchdown, well within the realm of possibility. As we look at the time, we have around 12 minutes left. Keith, where are we going next? Take me on a trip. Where are we going to go?
Let's talk about this Rams-Bills game because this is actually a game that I kind of see an under, but for cash, there's only really two guys that I can trust. There's a lot more that could, do well because obviously you got guys like Kupp, Puka, etc., James Cook, Josh Allen. But for me, there's two guys for cash. Shakir is the biggest one, 5,900, and it's just that man zone splits. This is a Rams team that they run zone at a top 5 rate in the NFL. It's almost like 80% of the time. Shakir's target rate versus man, 14%. His target rate versus zone, 36%. So he's going to get peppered with targets. That's what happens all the time when they face heavy zone teams. So that gives them an opportunity. On the other side, it's Kyron Williams. This is a bad Buffalo run defense, and the Rams are fighting for their playoff lives. This is a must, kind of win game, and this is a really difficult defense to throw. Buffalo has a great pass rush. They've done a great job, covering wide receivers in the secondary. And I think that, just knowing Sean McVay, he's going to come out there and I think try to control this game, keep Josh Allen out the field. And Kyron feels like a little bit of a discount at 7,300 on DK. I'm not sure what, his price is on FanDuel, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kyron scores, 1 or 2 touchdowns at least this week and has, close to 100 yards.
Yeah, when you look at Khalil, he's seen at least 7 targets in each of Buffalo's last 6 games, right? Normally that's a statistic, people, nerds like you or me, we like to pull something like that out and go, well, let's see. Jordan Addison has seen 6 or more targets the last 2 games or 3 games. No, Khalil has been targeted at least 7 times over the last 6 games. He's failed to reach 50 yards in just 1 week, and that was last week. But a game where Buffalo featured heavy run. Granted, it was in the snow, nasty game, but fun for other purposes. But the Rams defense, they're allowing we'll just call it 8 yards. It's 7.9 yards per attempt, and they've given up 20 passing touchdowns their last 12 games. So Khalil to receive a touchdown is highly, highly likely given what we're getting here. And again, I have Buffalo, as I said, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, to score 31 points. I think they win handedly, right? But Buffalo going to give up 21 points. And that's the old, adage of a good team or a high-end offense. They're going to score a ton of points, and their defenses don't bend, don't break. We'll outmaneuver them on the offensive side of things. But if the Rams are going to hang 20 or 21 points, where are those going to come from? And I'm with you. I could see a case where Kyron finds the end zone twice. Buffalo just about that last last 29th overall against opposing running backs here. So all we really have left is the Chargers at Kansas City. That doesn't help anybody.
Come on. You don't want to talk about my Falcons Vikings real quick?
Yeah, shoot. I was doing that on purpose. It was the last game I had left. I was going to see if you had it in you, if you had the stones to transition all the way back to a 1 o'clock game.
I mean, I talked about London, so we don't have to, talk about that anymore. I think he's a great play. But again, that stat of wide receivers 1, 2, and 3, Ray McLeod and multi-entries, Darnell Mooney, like any one of those wide receivers could go off because Minnesota is really bad versus, again, wide receivers. On the other side, I know a lot of people are really high on Darnold and Jefferson and everything. I just want to warn you, the Falcons don't get pressure. And it's kind of weird, but Darnold is somebody who is better when he's pressured. And the reason is because he's so much better versus man. The Falcons run zone at a very high rate. We don't get pressure. That's going to mean Darnold's going to have to be patient. Like with the Falcons, you can move the ball on them all day. We see it every week. But you have to be patient. You have to have those Tom Brady, in New England, like especially the years when they didn't have any of the stud receivers where it's 7-yard pass, 8-yard pass, 10-yard pass. And that's why I think TJ Hawkinson, 4,300, I think like he catches at least 7 passes. He's one of my most played guys in cash this week. I love that play. And I actually think this game is going to be a little lower scoring than people think. A lot of people are thinking shootout. With what I've seen from Kirk Cousins the last few weeks and the fact, again, that what Darnold excels at, we don't do. We don't play man and we don't blitz. We don't get pressure. It's just going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a dogfight, but I do like Hawkinson. And again, London, just because of the volume and being 6,400, I can't sit him out. But for MME, again, I'm totally cool, obviously, with, going with any of those Falcons receivers. Any of them could go off. And I actually do like Aaron Jones also in MME because we've been good versus the run, but some running backs have got us, and that could be what Minnesota does.
That's a weird thing about Darnold. I didn't know that's a fantastic.
I didn't know until I got asked a question the other day and did like a deep dive. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't realize he's actually not that good with a clean pocket.
Which is nuts. Most GMs and head coaches build their teams based on, giving the quarterback more time, right? Giving him all the time in the world where he could sit down on the couch and eat a sandwich before he throws the football. What this tells me, it's like maybe he's overthinking, or does that make him not a smart man? I'm not going to question his intellect or his wits.
It could be tight windows too, right? Because like with man, you have more room because the receiver can make a play. They're typically one-on-one, to where with zone, you kind of got to throw it into tight windows. And to your point, he may be overthinking where like he's holding it because he's afraid to let it go, worried that, like the linebacker will jump up and catch it or the corner jump in and, that kind of deal.
I don't know, to be fair, and it's about 12:54, which is killing some time here before we split. And I'll share a lineup or two before we go as well. But this means to me, like, what kind of quarterback would you rather have? I mean, both would be fantastic. But I would prefer a quarterback like that who is better under pressure, because that's the NFL game, right? They're going to blitz. They're going to get after you. They're going to put their hands up. But it's strange to me that given more time, given more peace and a clean pocket, he's overthinking and he doesn't do as well. That's a nuts
he's 21st or 22nd in completion percentage with a clean pocket.
That's
like Geno's the adverse of that, where Geno, when he has a clean pocket, is incredible. When he gets pressured, not so much. Cousins is another one.
When I think of a prototypical quarterback, in terms of there's a million things that go into making a good quarterback. That's probably like the 1A or 1B. What can they do when they're not under pressure? When his offensive line, does what they need to do? What can he do when he's got peace and quiet back there? And that, picking apart a defense. When I think picking apart a defense, that's what I think of. A quarterback, 7-step drop. He can do what he wants, and he can look around, go through his progressions, and go from there. And you're telling me that Sam is not that good in that scenario. But hey, I have a final score 28-21. I think it is an over, right? And I was over ambitious with both teams in terms of points. I mean, realistically, when I'm looking at team implied point totals here, Atlanta's projected to score 20.5. So just call it 21. And Minnesota's projected to score around 27. So not really. It
definitely could be an over. I mean, this is the kind of game that, like, with the weapons and stuff, and just both of these teams have good offenses. I do wonder if it's going to be with the way, again, the numbers I learned about Darnold, just the way, because I wanted us to swap the Penix straight up. Like, I think that this is, if you draft him at 8, this is the moment right here for it. You still control your own destiny, like put them in. And instead, I think they didn't want to take away Cousins' revenge game was the deal. I really did.
Yeah, he's not to strike me as a revenge guy at all. I don't think he's
Me
got
neither.
I don't think he's got the stones or the fire for that, right?
I don't think so either.
He's really vocal and in your face when things go his way, right? When he wins or they win by 30 points, he's wearing all everybody's chains on the plane and doing all this and stuff. But when the chips are down, he's kind of timid, and we'll go from there. So as I said, 28-21 kind of final score. Green Bay lost in Detroit on Thursday. Just updating some things as we go down the list. To put this thing in a bow here, I know we really like. I'll speak for you if that's fine. We really like the New Orleans Saints and Alvin Kamara in a great spot in New York. On the other side, Philadelphia is at home at the Link. Therefore, they would look to just absolutely, how can you put it? Just slaughter Carolina. How do they hang well? Probably not. You're looking at Philadelphia to double up. I would take Philadelphia minus the 12.5 points. A few other, good favorite bets of mine. And this, again, as I said, I have about 3 or 4 teams to score 30 or more points. Therefore, I'm going to take them minus, as I said. Minnesota, I would take Minnesota minus 5.5, which is strange given the team implied point totals and, everything there. It's going to come down to I have them, on paper right here in front of me to win by 2.5 points. But as I sat down and did my own projection, I have them to win by around 7. So I'll take Minnesota minus 5.5. New Orleans Saints minus 4.5. And there's a few teams like the Chargers, Sunday Night Football. I'll leave that one a little teaser until the video comes out. But Seattle at Arizona, a low scoring game, the under, which we both agree on. But Seattle is getting 2.5 points. I have them to outright win. So why not take Seattle plus the 2.5 points? And then Jacksonville at Tennessee. The over under there is nuts. I didn't even notice it until right now. It's at 39.5 total points. It's been bumped up a half to about 40, regardless of over under team implied point totals. I like Tennessee minus the 3.5 in that one. And then lastly, before we get the heck out of here, a minute before lock, Las Vegas at Tampa Bay. This is probably my favorite one of the day. You could take Tampa Bay minus the 7 points, or we can just throw caution to the wind and bet the over in that one, as I have them to win 35-21. Anything else we should talk about, or anything else you want to say before we get the heck out of here, Keith?
No, just hope my Falcons win. Going to see the Joker play, dude, at 6:00. Very excited. They're going to the Hawks game, playing the Nuggets. First time I've ever seen Jokic in person. Excited to see that dude ball out. Coming off, I think he scored like 58 points last night. So,
at first, I'll be honest with you, I thought you said I'm going to watch the Joker play, as in like a theatrical, theatrical opera. I go, the Joker's he's on the road. They're doing an opera and a sing-along. That'd be fun. So have fun. Good luck, and things will happen as they're supposed to. We can only move the needle for you so much. I will see everybody soon. For Keith, Fantasy Six Pack, I'm Chris, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.